the earlier story. Okay, I'll just add that.
Yeah. Yep. What's up, everybody? If you are on my Instagram live right now, we are live on YouTube and X. Me and Blake. So hit that link that I pinned and come hang out with us.
I'll put this back up here real quick. Yeah, I'll do it better next time. I got to get me a new Mac.
Just adjust my camera a little bit. And we are live, brother.
We're live right now. Can you see me? I can't see myself, so.
Yeah, I can see you. You're good.
I just see a black screen where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah, no worries. You're good, man. I can see you. I can see you perfect. Everybody can see you.
Perfect.
So, yeah, man, what's up?
Dude, it has been a roller coaster in the world of Blake Reynolds. As you know, I've been working out here in Florida and building this house out here. Just finished up a house in Kentucky, got it sold finally. And then every chance I get, going back and seeing the family. And this weekend was my wife's birthday, so we went to Nashville, hung out with my buddy that's a country music artist, Craig Campbell. We went and hung out with him for her birthday. He puts on a little Christmas thing, or a big Christmas thing. It was cool. Trace Atkins was there, and I got to meet Trace Atkins. Slept on the tour bus because why not? And man, we had a good time. Now it's back in Florida, back in work mode. And here's a secret: you didn't know this. I don't know that I'm going to make it, but I just got the invite to a dinner tomorrow night in Mar-a-Lago, and I'm not sure that I'm going to make that. So it's still cool that I got the invite. There's just a lot going on in this life of mine, man, and just trying to keep up with everything in life, trying to keep up with everything politically, social media wise. Everything is just it's just, I don't know. You ever feel like just taking a break sometimes and just saying, I'm going to go on a hiatus?
I mean, bro, honestly, I felt that literally last week. I mean, the truth is, man, like, here, let me put us back up there. Truth is, dude, when all the stuff was going on with Bondi and Candace and Erika and Turning Point and Trump and freaking, I mean, Venezuela, everything all happening at once. Like, I'll be honest, man, it was literally last week that I was like, I'm burnt. I'm burnt. Like I just wanted to, and I did. I took a little 2-day break. I stepped away and I didn't post nearly as much. And I tried not to be like, I tried not to consume as much on the different platforms and stuff. And then that's why I made that announcement about the men's group that we're going to start the Modern Exodus, because I was just kind of like sitting there and I was like, dude, we're not making a difference just consuming. I mean, it's important to be aware, but it's important to be aware, but not consumed. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so,
I feel like I feel like I have a good balance. I have a good balance there. I'm aware, but my level of consumption here lately has gone down because, and if we're speaking of the word consumption, we'll just use analogy of alcohol. I think so many people are drunk right now on everything, and I think it's just time to remedy the hangover, and I think everybody just get a clear head, and I'm sure we'll get into that. And I think Candace's last YouTube video has kind of, I think it'll be sobering in the sense that everybody can just settle down, take a break, focus on your own life. Christmas is coming up. Like, do you know how old your kids are right now? What do you get them for Christmas? So, but before we jump into it, I said let's get some formalities out of the way. I went to see our boy, conservative aunt. Last weekend. Last weekend at the store, and man, the store looks awesome. The gear is looking cool. Aunt hooked it up, but I did buy a watch. I bought I bought
You bought a watch?
the big square one. I spent almost $600 on that bad boy.
Damn, dude.
So
Damn.
excited to do that. And
Fancy.
I got to remove a link from it. It's a big watch. I got to remove a link from it. But I thought I might just set that up on a shelf and only wear it on the nights that I'm wearing suits, which is probably, well, when I'm here, I seem to be wearing them a lot, but where I'm going in life or even back at home, I'm just in construction clothes, man. So, but just being down there at the store, being down there hanging out with Ant, super cool. May get a chance to see him tomorrow. I know I'll be going. I believe I'll be going to seeing him again this weekend. So just excited about what you guys are doing with Patriot Gear. I'm loving this hat. I wore the Wint. How do you say your last name, by the way?
Literally like that. Went. Like, where'd I go?
Went.
You got my signature hat on right now, right?
Yeah, wearing the Wint hat, and thanks, courtesy of our friend Ant. Thank you for the hat. Which, you know, like when you're looking at them all, which you got so many, this one I gravitate toward. I like the colors, and if you guys bring me in on a design day one day, I got some ideas for some cool hats. Just saying, I'm gonna throw that out there, just for people like me. For people like me, look, for people like me that don't typically wear flat bill hats or certain hats. I mean, I'm a trucker hat fan, and you guys aren't doing too many truckers, man. We need some trucker hats.
Yeah, I hear you. We've done a few truckers. We actually just did a camo one that was pretty sweet, but we definitely have some more truckers coming. We have the Captain Trucker and a couple other ones, but
we're gonna have to throw a Blake collection out there one day, and it's just gonna be nothing but country boy hunting clothes and all the.
Hey, I'll tell you what. I'll show you a little sneak peek after this. I'll show you our next hunting collection because it's awesome. But so I saw somebody ask about. By the way, this whole stream is not about my apparel and my company. I appreciate the shout out, Blake. Thank you so much. But just so everybody knows, we're not going to talk about my company this whole time. But the hoodie that Ian Carroll wears. I think it's available. It's called the what is it called? It's called the Covert Hoodie. The Covert Hoodie. That's the one. So if
you didn't want to talk about your company the whole time?
No, man. I mean,
where can you find that? The officialpatriotgear.com. Just scroll through the hoodies. You can find that officialpatriotgear.com.
Get you guys a friend like Blake, okay? Because very few people, you know, the reality is it's hard for people like me to ask for promotion and things like that from my friends, because I've always been the type of person that just wants to hook everybody up, especially the ones that live and breathe and sleep what this brand stands for. And so I appreciate it, man. Genuinely, I do. And all of you guys that are watching, get you guys a friend like Blake that literally just goes off and promotes everything you're doing without.
I do it for free.
I appreciate it, man.
No, I wouldn't say it's complete free. Like every time I walk in the store, Ant hooks it up.
You some free stuff.
I'm gonna go grab my work phone real quick so I can text real quick. Hold on a second.
All right, that's cool. No worries. While he's doing that, I am going to just kind of cue this up a little bit. So, I appreciate all you guys being here tonight. We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna talk about everything. I've had a lot of people reaching out that have been saying, Ian, what are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on that? So, you know, here we are. I'm going to tell you what they are. And I brought Blake on. If you guys aren't following Blake, make sure you do. It's at Blake. I believe it's at Blake.Reynolds. He'll correct me when he gets back.
Whoa, right. I'm back.
Oh, here we go. Hey, what's your Instagram? I'm going to put it up on the screen right now.
BlakeReynolds.22.
Ah, that's what it was. Okay, hold up. At Blake Reynolds.
Dot 22.
22. Make sure you guys follow him, support him any way you can. I brought him on tonight because he's one of those people that always has a really good take on everything. And I really appreciate his point of view. We have a lot of good, every time I get on the phone with Blake, I swear, bro, every time we get on the phone, it's minimum of an hour of conversation because we talk about everything. But we're going to dive into a lot of stuff tonight, guys. There's a lot going on right now. And specifically, Blake was a pastor. And so he comes from a place where he's very knowledgeable when it comes to religion, when it comes to kind of the current circumstances that we're in right now in our country. And I want to get into that. But obviously, the first thing we want to talk about is what's going on here with Candace and Erika. I mean, you and I kind of started to riff about it on the phone, but like, Let's talk about it, man. Like, what are your thoughts? You know what I mean? I'll tell you what I think, but at the end of the day, like, what do you think? Is it a stage? Are we just watching a bad movie? Is this all bread and circuses, or do you think Candace is the real deal? And do you think that meeting was actually, a good one?
Well, I guess let me preface this for those of you that are maybe wondering. No, I'm no longer a pastor. I haven't been for a long time. That's an in-person conversation that we can have when I sit down in your actual studio. We can have that conversation. But I would say for the Candace and Erika situation, and it's really, I think it morphed into an Erika situation. Really, it seemed like Candace versus TPSUA at the start, at the
Bro,
jump.
hold up.
And
I gotta say something. You did this all day today on the phone too. Every time you say TPUSA, it's
why do I mess it up?
It's TSPUA or TPUA. You say it weird. You say it different every single time.
You just said it different 3 times. Which one is it?
No, I know. I'm saying that's what you say. It's
TPUSA.
Yeah.
Turning point. I'm just going to say turning point. Forget all the TPUSA stuff because I get tongue-tied. There's too much stuff to remember in this life. But I think from the jump it was her, and then the turning point situation, and then Erika takes over, and then it just becomes so polarizing. And I want to say this because I think there's a lot being said in an unfair manner towards people like myself that grew up. Well, I won't say grew up. I didn't grow up on her, but really starting to get political the same time Candace Owens comes on the scene. Like, she was a hero during the BLM movement, and she was a hero during George Floyd moments, and like all the things. Like, we've always kind of looked to her to be that voice, not only as a female, but in the Black community. And she seemed to have common sense. And up until recently, I mean, I get it. People started to see her stuff is like, I'm not interested in Bridget McCrone and her penis. Like, I don't really care about that. I don't care about Blake Lively. I don't care about all that stuff. And so you know, her viewership, as far as like somebody like me, I'm not paying attention to it. I'm not watching it. And then this happens. No, I didn't throw her out with the bathwater. It's just somebody that I hadn't watched in a while. And it's like, oh, I want to see what she has to say. Do I think she's 100% correct on everything? How could I? I don't know. Do I think their turning point's 100% right on everything? I don't know. How could I even know? I think this is why I'm wanting to say this, because it's so polarized at this point that if you were to say one or the other, it's almost as if I walked outside in Florida and was like, it's cold outside, and then somebody from Idaho goes, bro, you don't know what cold is, and then you down there in Florida, and then it's name calling, like, you sissy, you got that sissy skin. It's like, hold on. And it's the same thing with this Candace situation. I think if I watch something and I like something, I have to be careful that I can't even say nothing. Why? Because next thing you know, I'm fighting people that I've been friends with for 10 years on this, not 10 years, but 5 years on this app. And it's like, whoa, when did we not be on the same team? Only because I'm watching Candace's podcast. And then if I agree with Turning Point on something, or if I show up to Amfest, oh, you're a traitor to the cause. And it's like, this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. And I think for the most part, we align on our thought process. I know that you go out a little bit further, and that's by design by you, and that's been your style of content. It hasn't been mine. So from somebody that's kind of in the middle, and we can go into the Israel stuff. We can go into we can leave the Israel thing alone for just this conversation. People really want you to come out and diagnose Candace Owens as psychotic right now, and I'm not doing it, and I'm not going to prescribe to that.
It's not just that, bro. Look, this is what I've been saying about this. Some of you guys, if you were on the live the other night, you know this, and some of you may not. But what I said was, with this situation with Candace and Erika, it's the same as every other situation like it. What they are doing is they are making it about the characters. They're making it about Candace's character and Erika's character. They're making it about Erika is a woman of God and she just lost her husband and she's this and she's that. And these are her characteristics and these are her traits and these are her values. And then they're saying the same thing about Candace, right? And so you have both of these sides that are making the whole thing about Candace and about Erika. But the reality is, this isn't about Candace or Erika. This is about the truth versus the suppression of the truth. And honestly, that's why I actually love that they met. And I'll be honest, I think.
Did you watch it?
I didn't get to watch her entire stream, but I watched most of it. And I will say this, from everything that I saw, I believe they did have an honest conversation. I believe that that Candace laid out her questions. I believe that Erika, I actually tweeted this. I actually said, look, I've been saying for a long time that I thought it was a possibility that Erika could actually be Candace's source. But it turns out, based on what Erika was saying, the reason why Erika didn't stop Candace is because Candace was Erika's source. I mean, Candace was giving Erika information she didn't have. She literally said that's why she didn't tell her to stop. So look,
which is crazy. Hold on a second. That is actually crazy, because why? That should not be the case. Look, Ant's video that he posted, I think it was this morning, or it was last night. I can't remember, but he said we're all up in arms over two women. I can't even remember the whole thing, but it was basically like a woman's quarrel, and we are just witnessing it. And that's what's crazy, because they're both so polarizing. And I think because of the mistrust in the FBI, this is why it's even gotten this far. You asked the question earlier, do I think this is all a stage? Sometimes I do. But at the same time, social media personalities have become so prominent in the worlds that we live in that now they're on a stage. They are the stage. It just seems kind of like a stage, just because so many people. Now, Erika, I feel like, nobody really knew her, really. I'm just going to say that. Nobody really knew her up until this situation. Now, we knew of her. You didn't hear her talk much. I certainly haven't. I've never been to a women's conference where Erika Kirk got up there and started speaking, because I've never been to a women's conference. So this is all kind of new. And so when it comes to the character thing that you're talking about, I don't know that I'm speaking to a stage situation or whatever. And then when everybody's like, leave her alone, she's grieving. And I'm like, whoa, hey, I'm not into all that. I'm not into all that at all.
No, and see, here's the thing, man. I've been taking arrows for that. I mean, this. I've been taking arrows for that since like day 5, because literally the day that she did, I mean, dude, me and Ant got into this. This was a big deal, dude. I was one of the very first people that was willing to say what I thought about Erika before anybody else. I took all the arrows. It was the day that she did that eulogy. And I'll be honest with you, bro. I said the same thing that I will say right now. I don't know if she's just a weird person, like that's just her personality, and she's just very like cringy. And look, here's the thing. There's a lot of cringy, weird people out there. And if that's the case, like, okay, so be it. That's how she is. But the bottom line is, when I watched her do that eulogy or whatever that was, it felt so scripted, bro. She kept looking up at the sky, and it was like the emotional pauses and the whispering and then the yelling out loud. Like, it was so performative. And then right after that, it was like the next day, she was on Charlie's show, and she was talking about how they were gonna, build the business, and she was asking for donations and things like that. So I made a tweet. I literally said, I said, all I know is that I hope if I ever get assassinated in front of thousands of people, it takes longer than 3 days for my wife to start working on my business.
Yeah, when I saw that,
bro.
This is how I'm scrolling like this, and I saw that, I went, look, my God.
You know what? You get
I get it.
With me,
I
get
get
what you get, man. I am open book.
I'm not, and I'm not hating. And here's what's wild. People like me on my and what I do.
I want to say something really quick though, because I know there's going to be people in the comments that are like, "Oh, well, that's such a crappy thing." No, listen to me. Listen. When I made that post, okay, I got 50-50. I got 50% of the people that were like, yeah, man, this is weird. This is all completely off. And then I got 50% that were like, you're the worst person on the planet. How can you judge a grieving widow? Blah, 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 blah. And then sure enough, fast forward to today, or even like a week ago, it's 80-20 at this point. 80% of people that watch that or that are watching what she's doing are saying, like even to the point, dude, where it's like, look, her and Charlie constantly talked about the whole trad wife thing, right? The traditional wife thing where it's like, be home with the kids, take care of the kids, don't worry about business, be a godly mother, blah, like all of the traditional wife things. And then you have Erika out here and like, look, okay, if she's, like whatever, if they had something and she's helping build the business, okay, cool. But like, still, you need to address it because everything you and Charlie talked about for years, you're basically doing the exact opposite. Where are the kids? Where are the kids, man? Like,
listen, let me play devil's advocate a little bit.
Yeah, go for it. That's why I brought you on here. I didn't bring you on here because you agree with me.
Yeah, so there's a couple things. I went to a funeral not long ago, and I watched a mom talking about her son that just passed away on a motorcycle. And I've been friends with this family since the 4th grade.
Hey, hold on. So everybody's saying your volume's really, really loud. Maybe just pull your mic.
Am I too close?
A little bit or something, yeah.
Okay. What about now? Is this good?
Let us know how that is, guys. Go ahead and talk, and I'll tell you what they say.
So if you're watching that and then put it in front of the entire world, people would go, oh, and they would have something to say about it. And I get it, and I understand. I've never, like, you're literally addressing the entire world when you get up there. And I'm sure there had to be the performative aspect of it. I imagine it's hard to do that. I imagine it's hard to grieve and do that in front of the entire world. I'll say that. Do I agree with you?
Hey, hold on. This is what they're saying, just so you know. It's because your mic's on the table. When you're hitting the table or you're hitting the mic, they're saying there's it's a loud noise every time. And then just pull the mic away from you, and you're going to be loud and clear because those are the type of mics where if you're right here, it's going to be way too loud.
Yeah, and I'm all over this table, so I'll.
Yeah, no worries. So I'm just keeping you up. Go ahead.
So there's the aspect that you're doing this in front of the world, and I get it. It's got to be hard. It's got to be hard. We'll leave that one to go over to the next part. If I die, and there are people gunning for my position, my spot, my business, I hope my wife jumps in there and acts like she belongs there. And this is going to be the hard part because I don't want nobody taking this. And I imagine the conversation that she has with lawyers, her family, or whatever. And it's like, Erika, I know you're grieving. Jump in there before you lose all this. And I would want my wife to jump in and make sure that everything's solidified and it's concrete. And I'm sure at night she probably takes a deep breath. I can see all this, but because it's happening in front of everybody, and we live in a world of Ian Wentz and everybody, and you are seeing, you got who's the one that Candace goes back and forth with. It's always talking about the Bible, Stucky, the Beth Stucky chick or whatever. You got her.
I don't know who you're talking about. I'm bad. A lot of the people that you've named, like even when we were on the phone earlier and your name, I don't know a lot. I feel bad. I don't know a lot of people. I don't know who that is.
No, and it's good. And sometimes people don't even learn those names till you have conversations. And so like when Candace is talking about all these people that's part of this Turning Point organization, I'm like, I've never heard any of these names ever. Never in my life have I heard of any of these names. And so everybody's learning these new characters, and this is why I don't take character into a factor when it comes to all this conversation. When they're like, she's a grieving widow, or she's a nice person, or Candace is going psycho and a psychotic. It's like, well, it's hard for me to build a character. What word am I looking for? Analysis on somebody that I do not know. So it's like, this has got to be a fact thing. And when the facts seem to be there and you strip emotion from it, I think we're all saying the same thing. We don't like what we see. It seemed way too goofy from the get-go, the whole thing. And so I think regular people, and I say regular people in the sense of what we're talking about, you wouldn't be regular in this situation because you are publicly outspoken talking about this. I'm a consumer of the people that's talking about this. I'm not making content on this. And I just take it all in, And it is crazy how demonized people like me are just for sitting back and taking it in without making a public denouncement of everybody that we know, love, and trust. And Candace being one of them. How in the world am I going to stand up and go, Candace is psycho, she's nuts, because she's been right as long as I've known her. And then, aside from a little crazy, just the same, they're trying to Alex Jones, Candace Owens. And I'm like, you can't do that. You can't do that. I've been listening to Alex Jones for so long. And I'm not saying I'm like this crazy conspiracy theory person, but I know when they start trying to villainize Candace Owens the same way they did Alex Jones, you have to sit back and go, man, she might be on to something.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't disagree, dude. But here's the thing too about that. For me, the problem that I have is this. Once again, it's the fact that the grieving widow thing, right? The grieving widow thing and all of the things that they say about Erika. And when I say they, I'm talking predominantly of like, dude, the influencers and the media personalities that for the longest time have been all about like searching for the truth and asking questions, like question everything and don't ever believe the narrative. And like all these people that have been all about that for so long, now all of a sudden they decide, no, this is the one thing that you cannot ask the questions about, that you cannot feel a certain way about, and that if you do, you're a terrible person and you are just a conspiracy theorist. You're everything.
Let me give you an example.
Well, hold on. So the thing is, what it is faith-based manipulation. They're using God and faith and religion to manipulate people into feeling like they can't ask questions or they can't go against this narrative. And they absolutely cannot question whether or not this woman is more than she seems. And that was the number one red flag to me from the get. And that's why I started saying what I said, because I recognized it right off the bat. I was like, this is what they're going to do. They're going to manipulate all of these Christian people, specifically the right-wing influencers that are Christian, to believe that if they do this, they're not men or women of faith, or they don't actually believe in the power of God, or whatever it may be, dude. Yeah. But that is what they are doing, and I cannot stand to watch it. Especially, I can't stand to watch some of these people fall for it.
Well, let me speak to it real quick. So, to the people that say that, this is. Let's use a George Floyd example. This is what the left was doing when the right would say he held a gun up to a pregnant lady, or beat up a pregnant lady or whatever. We weren't allowed to talk about it. We're like, no, this matters. This part matters. And the right was saying it, but the left was shielding that and going, no, that's an isolated incident. That's over there. We're talking about now his knee was on his neck. That's all that matters. And we're like, no, we're trying to build up this. We're trying to build a thing out right here. Does this seem like the type of guy? And then, so this is what we did the whole way. Now, that's one example. And it's weird that we're not letting our own side do it. So that's why I said that. And then you have over here with the faith-based stuff that you talked about. Why does nobody give Joel Osteen that same grace?
Good point.
They rip him a new one every time. He's this and he's that, and he didn't open up his church doors, and it's like, how come we're not allowed to use faith there? How come we're not allowed to use he's a man of God, or he's a this and he's a that? And then you can go talk about the other money grifting pastors, and I'm not calling him one. I'm just saying, the ones that are out there. Man, the right chews them up without giving them that. So I'll tell you why this is it. I'll tell you why it's happening. And there might be some people that get upset about saying this, but I feel this way. I think because that whole faith-based charge that you're talking about is being led by women. And you were not allowed to touch it. It's almost like the abortion thing. You're not allowed to touch it.
Erika thing specifically, right?
Erika thing specifically.
Yeah, 100%. And that's not a knock on women. It's just
no, not at all. Because it's the same way for.
That's part of the preconditioned emotional reactions, and it's part of the agenda to make it so that people don't question it. They are using not only women, or not only Christians, but they are using women in this this back and forth thing. They literally made it a feud between women when it's not a feud between women. That's the thing. Everybody is Team Candace this and Team Erika this, and that's not what this is about. It just happens to be that Candace and Erika are the characters in the story, but the story is what we should be focused on, which is who killed Charlie Kirk? How did he die? And why was he killed?
And you know what's crazy? This is truly all we care about. And so and I'm not saying when two men are talking, but I kind of mean it like this. When two men are talking about what a 30-06 round does, and you got a woman on the side going, leave her alone, she's grieving. And it's like, hold on, we're talking about two different things, because we know how to compartmentalize. We're tired of the little infighting, the cat fight. Like Candace Owens, the second she starts doing her advertisements in her show, I'm like, all right, that part's over. I'll get back to it later. I'll see some stuff on Twitter, whatever the case may be. But men, we just want to focus on the things that we know we've experienced, things that doesn't make sense, the things that, you got people going, oh my God, did you see her eyes? They look evil. And I'm over here as a man watching, I'm going, who gives a daggum about the way her eyes look in this interview?
Yes. It's all these stupid emotional triggers that they're using on people. But that's the thing. That is the game. And it's the game with everything. It's the game with the subversion of Christianity right now with Israel. It's the game they played with the situation in Gaza. It's the game they played with COVID. It's the game they played with BLM. What they do is they basically pick and choose these emotional triggers, and they make it so that people throw logic completely out the window. Because they're so emotionally wrapped in everything else. So this is no different. It's literally the same thing. All you have to do is look at the facts, right?
Yeah.
Does it make sense that he got shot with a 30-06? No, it doesn't make sense. Does it make sense that the guy who shot him assembled the gun, disassembled the gun, assembled the gun again, put it in his pants, jumped off the building, ran away, left it in the woods, was spotted at Dairy Queen, got gassed 30 miles away, and then turned himself in and wrote a love letter to some trans roommate? No. It doesn't.
And this is why I feel like the conversation has been hijacked. I'll say this, and I can say I watched Candace's stuff here recently for sure. Even I don't like the direction she took it in a couple times. I'm like, none of this matters. None of this even matters. We're like, you see how fast he grabbed the phone, and then people are, it's the lapel mics, it's the guy behind him, it's this guy over here with the little palm gun. It's now it's all over the place. And I feel like that was the design. Let's confuse everybody. So you have 50% of the people that could care less, like they're not even into politics. They just, it sucks that happened. They'll buy their Freedom shirt. They'll wear it at Target while they're working. They don't care. They're not into the micro. They're into the macro. And then you break it down into the people that are into politics. And then it's broken up into so many different factions. And then you have the conspiracy theory lane. Even the conspiracy theory people are broken into several different factions. And I'm like, this is where it gets stupid. And it gets so stupid and so stupid and so stupid. This is why Candace actually, even though some of her stuff is, I feel like, derailing the conversation, it's still more logical than some of the other stuff that's being said. This is why more people are paying attention to her.
Well, for sure. That's exactly why. Because at the end of the day, once again, this is not about Candace versus Erika. This is not about a feud between women. This isn't about one woman who lost her husband versus another woman who's attacking this poor woman who lost her husband. It's literally about somebody who is asking the logical questions that there don't seem to be answers to. And that every time you ask those questions, you're either slandered, you're freaking drug online. People call you crazy. They call you, they say you lack faith. They say that you're hateful, that you're evil, that you're anti-Semitic. It's the fact that the questions that need to be answered are not being answered. And anytime you try to get answers to those questions, all of that happens. Those are major red flags for anybody that is just thinking simply logically about this. Now, I will say this, though. I have seen a lot of people that come after Candace because of the things that she's gotten wrong. But it's like, dude, she is like, I've said this a bunch of times. She is acting as an investigative journalist, right?
Yeah.
And when you are investigating a crime, like, I don't know how many crime documentaries people have watched, but the amount of things that they get wrong, the amount of suspects that they pull out in handcuffs at a birthday party with their kids just to find out that, oh, we got the wrong guy, embarrassed him, ruined his life in front of his family for a minute. Like, it happens all the time. So there's no difference between that happening in person. Well, there is a difference. The difference between that happening in person with an actual crime investigation and what's happening here is just the difference of, in person, they get drug out of the restaurant physically and brought to the station. Online, they get drug online, and they get drugged by the court of public opinion. And that's how they figure out whether they're innocent or not, or whatever it may be. But like, what she is doing is she is asking all of the questions in every single way to leave no stone unturned, which, by the way, is exactly what the Turning Point team has been saying they are willing and want to do, that they, quote unquote, are not going to leave any stone unturned. Bullshit. You're the ones that are leaving all the stones unturned. And Candace just proved it. Candace met with Erika, and one of the things that Erika also told Candace, apparently, is that they don't have any more information that everybody else has. So, okay, if that's the case,
which I thought she said she did.
The questions.
I thought earlier on it was alluded to that they had more information than the public.
No, dude. No. She learned through Erika that they don't have any more information.
Yeah,
and
I heard
not
it.
Asking for any more. They're just sitting by and saying, okay, like, I guess this is the truth. This is the reality. We'll just kind of sit by. They're not leaving no stone unturned. That's my point. That is what Candace is doing. And here's the thing. All the people that have come after Candace, every single time they come after her, she comes back with receipts and she shoves it back in their face. And not only that, like, she's forcing people to make mistakes. She's forcing them to make mistakes and to reveal that there are still a lot of questions that need to be answered. And that is the point of what she's doing, because if she wasn't doing it, guess what? If Candace wasn't doing what she's doing right now, you know what would be happening? Nothing.
And this is
nothing.
This
it
is
been buried.
This is the issue, and I feel like what we're all dealing with now, because I saw something that somebody posted today, and I messaged them. I said, this is all getting silly. It's getting insane. I said, it's almost starting to become comical. And I'll tell you, ultimately, this is what I think. And I think the FBI intentionally left this mess on everybody's plate. And it's see you in Van Hala. It's comments like that. It's 33. It's like, okay, for the people that's been around a little bit and the conspiracy theories, they literally just rolled out all the JFK stuff. And it's like people just forgot that we were lied to for several years. And then all of a sudden you start seeing those same numbers and those same things and those same themes. And then you see him go, I'll see you in Van Hala. And then all of a sudden in the picture with the Robinson kid, it's like, there's a picture and there's that island that has Valhalla in it or whatever. And I'm just like, why is it always like this? Why is it never cut and dry? Why can't it just now? And I get it. There's definitely some cases out there. You'll see it on Netflix and other documentaries. It's just like, okay, so at the end of this documentary, we still don't know who's actually guilty of this right here. So I understand that there's things like this, but when the FBI is involved, you go, what am I watching? Am I watching a movie? Am I watching a stage? Is he still alive? Is he not alive? And you're crazy for even saying it, but they put us in the position to I mean, obviously Candace doesn't, she went full steam ahead. And I think the reason why is because Kash Patel got up there and gave one of the sloppiest briefings in the world. And it's just like, all right, fine. They're not going to do it. We're going to do it. And then boom, the internet does what the internet does. And now it is just all over the place. And it sucks because people like me, we just go, not again, man. Not again. Yeah. Here we go. Let's figure this out.
But going back to this, like going back to the logic thing, right? for me, this is very cut and dry. That's why anytime that somebody tries to like argue with me or come at me about this, I'm like, I don't use this word very often, not because I'm like afraid of words or anything, but just because I feel like everybody does and it's so low hanging fruit. But I'm like, you're literally retarded. Like, you have to be retarded to not see this for what it is. They paved over the freaking crime scene less than 24 hours after it happened. That is not a thing. If somebody killed me right now where I am, there would be caution tape around this thing for weeks or however long it takes. And no one would touch anything in the vicinity because it's evidence.
Even
That's
more
how
simple.
crime works. Or crime works.
I look at other simple things, and this is exactly what I was thinking when everything was first going down. I was like, okay, he didn't go to college there. He's never been there. If I went to a random college, let's say N is going to speak at such and such college, bro, I would not have a clue where to go to set up a shot for you. I'd be like, okay, you could just get on the roof. I would never think that. You know what I mean? And like, what would I be there like a day or two before, which they got that footage supposedly. We'll see when the investigation finishes up. But I wouldn't even know where to go on a college campus I've never been to.
Preparation for it, basically.
Yeah, like how do you just wind up on a roof somewhere to line up the perfect shot and all the things? I wouldn't even have a clue.
I mean, the truth is, if he's a Utah or Idaho local, I mean, I'll be honest with you, that's easy to debunk because even I know about the Losi building. Everybody that knows about UVU knows about the Losi building. You know about that courtyard and the way that it's situated. It's a very unique courtyard where the building.
You're telling me you would go into it? You would go into a situation like that, not knowing whether there's cops, whether there's people on the roof, whether there's drones, whether there's not. You're just that stupid of a person to go. I think I can get up here and take a shot. Like I would never think that.
Yeah, from day one, and I've said this because I had a source that was actually on the ground the day that it happened. Dude, I had updates, and I told everybody this. I had updates the day that he got shot faster. Like I knew things before it ever hit the news because my buddy was literally the one that was there on the scene. And that's another reason why I know so much of this is bullcrap, because so many of the things that he said don't line up to anything they've said. But that's neither here nor there. Because they've been put on top of all the paving over the crime scene. There's been gag orders placed on all of the law enforcement, any witness that comes forward out of 3,000 people. So that's another thing that's just like, yeah. But the point is, he said himself, and all of them said that there was far less security than there would normally be for something like that. It didn't make any sense. There was like 6 guards total. Not to mention, there was no communication between the two of them. They say there was, but there wasn't. My buddy told me straight up there was no communication between the guards on the campus or the local police and Charlie's detail. And I have friends that are in executive protection, and every single one of them has told me the very first thing that I would have done as executive protection for somebody is notice that those roofs were like, we have to figure this out. These are vantage points that I don't like, and we need to figure out how to make it, how to secure them. And they didn't. So that's another major red flag. The other thing is, and I don't know if this has been proven or not, but from what I heard, they had no communication with the local police, so they didn't have the access to the roof. The detail didn't have access. So the point is, there's so many things that happen with this that logically do not make sense and do not add up. And my point of going so hard on this, right? And my point of, whatever you want to call it, whether I'm defending Candace or I'm defending getting to the bottom of this, which ultimately that's what it is the fact that emotional triggers are being used to blind people to the truth and the logic of this entire situation, just like every other situation like this, every other assassination, every other false flag, every other, COVID, BLM. I mean, you name it. And this is what is done. They use emotional triggers to blind everybody and make them stop asking the right questions and basically throw logic out the window. I mean, look how many people believe
it's the same playbook
in the air for 2 years, for 3 years.
But look what's always the driving force. Like, so on this one, we've talked about there's women driving this. When it was the George Floyd, it was black people. That's another subject you can't talk about. You can't tell a woman how she feels, and you can't tell a black person how they feel. And then
For sure.
when it was COVID, and you got all these nurses, these females, another female situation, they were not about to tell you. So this one lady, I saw her in person, and she looks at me. She knows I do content and different things like this, and I was rocking it out during COVID, especially on TikTok. I was getting millions of views on stuff that I was saying, and this lady goes, she said, "Shoot, I went and got that shot yesterday," and I was like, so I'm sitting there minding my business because Emily pre-warned me, and I'm just sitting there like, yeah, like I'm just listening to the conversation. And she goes, there wasn't no way I wasn't about to see my baby. So she went and got the shot because her daughter, her son's wife, which would be her daughter-in-law, was not going to let the baby around nobody without getting the shot. So she goes, ain't nobody keeping me from seeing my baby. So she went and got the shot. And I'm like, it is literally whittled down to this right here. Nobody cares about facts. Nobody cares about people's experiences. You see people getting the shot, and now they're shaking and stuff. And it's like all this stuff, it's just they throw logic out the window, and it's nobody's going to keep me from seeing my baby. And there was nobody going to stand up. And this is why your friend Officer Tatum, this is why people like him and Candace Owens were so monumental during BLM stuff and the George Floyd stuff, because there wasn't a lot of white people allowed to speak. So you had to let Candace Owens and Brandon Tatum do it. And it's like, and then it's the same thing with, gay issues. You got to let your gay friends say it. It's with black issues. You got to let your black friends say it. If it's with female issues, well, you got to let the females say it. And so, because we're just like, hey, we getting attacked every time we open up our mouth. So when Candace Owens comes out and says something, you go, share. She said it for me, y'all. It wasn't me. She's black. She's a woman. She's a conservative. I'm not saying nothing. This wasn't my thoughts. This is hers. She just kind of wrapped it up nice in a bow and handed it to you. And this is the same situation, like you talked about COVID, whether it be the BLM stuff, whether it be this situation. It's being led by emotionalism, and a lot of people are now not speaking what I would consider truth or facts, or just asking questions, just simply because now it's an emotional wrecking ball. And you have to go, well, never mind. I've been ostracized. I've been castrated. I'm not allowed to say nothing anymore because I don't want this girl to get mad at me.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's 100% the truth. And, I'll also say they are so good at pitting us against each other with these situations. They're so good because they know what to hit on. It's race, it's religion, it's faith, it's it's sex. Like it's all the things that basically make people so incredibly tribal. And so you're right, dude. Now you have people that are seeing this as a black and white issue, as not black and white as race, but just black and white in general, Candace versus Erika, and they're not seeing this for what it actually is. And so many people are not questioning it because of that. And so then they become tribal, and it becomes this team versus this team. And that's not what it was. That's not what it ever was. Yeah. And, it's going to keep happening the more that people can't wake up to it happening. I just want to take a break super quick. Guys, we have, this is awesome. You got 1,600 people watching this right now. We appreciate you guys for being here.
What up, everybody?
Hanging out with us tonight.
Go follow me on Instagram, Blake Reynolds.
Yeah, no, follow Blake at Blake Reynolds .22 on Instagram. And then I appreciate you guys for the super chats. Denise, thank you. And I think it says Go Browns. Yeah, Go Browns. Thank you.
What is that?
Super chat. So
no, like what's the Browns?
Oh, it's his name. Go Browns. Go Browns. TD.
Oh,
54.
Oh, it's a football team. Football team.
Yeah, we won't hold it against you, though, bro. Don't worry.
I gotcha.
Not you. I won't hold it against the Browns fan. All right. So this one says, Ian, you need to get this trending. What did TPUSA say about Charlie leaving the Israel cause and the Doge style audit? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we can talk about that for a minute right now. Before we jump into that, guys, if you want to follow Blake, please follow him on Instagram, Blake Reynolds .22 at Instagram. And then if you want to support me, obviously you can buy some Patriot gear. That's my main company. You're supporting me. You're supporting the families that I employ. And then obviously you can throw the super chats in, guys. I'll answer them as I go. I appreciate every single one of you guys and the support. So let's jump into this one. So yeah, I mean, this, like, for me, this was kind of the biggest piece of the puzzle that really made me like dig my heels in with this whole Charlie Kirk thing, was the fact that after Candace released that text thread that said that where Charlie clearly was not only upset about the donors, but upset about the fact that there was pressure to not let people like Tucker talk on stage, or not allow those people to be part of the Turning Point events. On top of that, he said he's going to leave the Israel cause straight up. And here's the thing. We talked about this so many times, so I don't want to beat a dead horse, but like, he had been saying that for a long time. Charlie had been waking up for a very long time. You cannot prove this to not be the case. You go listen to his podcast, go listen to his interviews, go listen to everything he was saying up until he died. And he was very much starting to wake up to the subversion in this country when it came to Israel, when it came to the foreign entanglement with them, when it came to us funding their freaking genocide, when it came to the ethnic cleansing of Gaza, when it came to, he's the one that called out the stand down order. I mean, it was one of the first things that he did back in 2023. So it's like, you can't tell me that that's not where he was going. And it's one of the biggest reasons why I believe personally that's who freaking killed him. Because for me, it's always who stands to gain the most from him dying. And he was the most influential person when it came to the two youngest generations. What are the most valuable generations to the Israel cause right now? The two youngest generations. Why? Because the oldest generations are cooked. They've been propagandized for years through Hasbara. The younger generations are not propagandized. They're not taking it in because of social media and because of all the things that now, coincidentally, Israel's also buying up. They're buying up social media. They're buying up ChatGPT. They're buying up AI. They're buying up all these different things that all of the younger generation is using. Charlie was about to open thousands of high school chapters. I think Turning Point has done it since. And so he was not only influencing the college age kids, he was about to influence all the high school age kids. And what do you think is going to happen if all of a sudden he turns on the Israel cause and his message shifts for all of these younger generations? That is something that Israel cannot have. And Netanyahu himself has come out and said, we are losing the propaganda war. They're ramping up their Hasbara campaign. They're buying out freaking influencers. They're bringing thousands of pastors to Israel to propagandize them and have them not learn how to preach about God better. No. To learn about how to support the state of Israel and how to recruit more younger pastors to do the same. Miss me with the idea that this is not a possibility. That the possibility that Israel freaking took out Charlie Kirk, miss me with the idea that that's not a possibility. Because I will tell you all day long, there are far too many signs that point to that being a possibility. Period. What do you got to say about it?
I ain't getting shot. Leave me alone. No. So I think there's a lot. Let's back up to what he said in the text. And leaving the cause is one thing. I think the language that you have to really pay attention to is when he says, I have no choice. When somebody like Charlie Kirk uses or utters the words, I have no choice but to leave the Israel cause, I think that's the most telling. That shows you the amount of pressure that he was receiving. That shows you not even just the amount of pressure, but how big this obstacle was that he was actually facing. That when he tells the most trusted people to him, which would be his team or whoever was in that group chat, I have no choice. And he's letting you know morally who I am as a person, what I'm building, to be the honest, truthful Charlie Kirk that everybody knows, loves, this Jesus Christ loving Charlie Kirk. I would give my life for the sake of Christ and his death and him crucified and resurrected. That right there, we know that that's different from an Israel message. So there's two different messages. It's not just money. It's not just, I don't want people to think that America needs to be fighting in wars and foreign wars and all that. That's one aspect of it. But this was a fight of Charlie's faith, I think, in this moment when he says, I have no choice, because it's not about foreign wars. It's not about the APACs and the this. I think, honestly, personally, what Charlie was saying, the thing I'm wrestling with the most is I cannot stand behind this and put the stamp of approval of God on it. I'm having a hard time with this one. I have no choice. And he's saying, hey, the things that they're saying is true. This pressure is applied, and they use money. They use, they apply pressure in whatever way that they apply it. But I think the war that Charlie was having was a battle within himself in the area of his faith. And I'd like to believe that. I truly like to believe that, because you know what? When you talk about Israel being an ally, and you would say, well, what have they done for us? I would say, well, nothing. But what has Guam done for us? I think as long as Israel exists, America is going to be there. I don't think that's going to change unless and I know you're going to hate to hear me say this, unless there is some 5D chess playing somewhere and they're saving Israel for last. I think we will always be there to support Israel. It's this country in the middle of a bunch, blah, blah, blah. It makes sense logically. But when you see Charlie come out and say that, I think this was a faith issue for him, and he could no longer stand behind it, because he would have made it more clear. Y'all, the money, I just don't think there should be any wars. I'm not gonna promote foreign wars. I'm not gonna do this. I think when he says I have no choice, this was a faith issue, in my opinion.
Here's the thing, though. It wasn't just that. What Charlie was talking about before he died, I mean, literally the last interview that he had, one of the last interviews, was the Megyn Kelly show. And he literally said on the Megyn Kelly show that he was being called an anti-Semite, and that his character was being questioned simply because he was questioning the decisions of a foreign government. And because he wasn't advocating for it, and because he was putting people on a stage to debate the issue in America as an American.
As I'm talking, when I say the faith thing, though, I'm not just talking, because I agree with what you're saying. But what I think Charlie Kirk was building out, and when he talks about his own character, I think what he's talking about is no longer can we justify this in the name of God. I don't agree with it.
I agree 100%. And that's the thing. Like, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I mean by it got so bad that Charlie recognized the subversion, and he recognized the manipulative tactics. But bro, he recognized a lot of things. I mean, he was even talking about how Israel was the biggest funders of the Marxist organizations, the leftist Marxist and feminist organizations in America. And he knew what was going on before he died.
Yeah, his interview with Patrick Ben-David, I think, was the most telling, because he gave factual things, the stand down order, the whole thing. When he's talking, when he was saying that's when I thought to myself, I went, oh, it's done for him and Israel. This is a broken up relationship.
The thing is, that wasn't, because I think it wasn't the end, because that was 2023. That was, I think a lot of people forget this.
Wait, are you for real?
That was 23, bro. It was 2023 when he did that interview. That's when he started to wake up.
Okay.
And that's when I believe the target was put on his back, where it was like, okay, we're going to watch this guy.
Why did I think this was 2025?
Because everybody does, because that's what it was posted. But over the next 2 years, he asked all the questions, and he himself said, I learned in COVID that the only way to truly stay free is to ask questions. And so that's what he did for 2 years straight. And he got to the point right before he died where he realized the subversion, the manipulation of Israel, of the state of Israel, was so vast in our government, in the policy making, and to the point where it was affecting his own organization. And that's why he said, I'm done. And look, Erika just proved in this interview, or in this conversation with Candace, this is what Candace said anyway, that Charlie did indeed say that he thought they were going to kill him. They were going to kill him the night before he died. He straight up said, I think they're going to kill me the night before he died.
Hold
that
on.
Is not a lie.
Did you catch
right?
Did you catch the part where she said, but when he texts the security guard, Dan or whatever, Dan, he thinks the left is going to kill him. And I was like, no, I don't like this one. I don't feel like that's true.
I missed that part. But either way,
she texts Andrew Colvett, I think they are going to kill me. And then supposedly what he texts to the security guy is the left is going to kill me. That's what Erika told Candace. Candace says, I have no way of proving that. And then they asked Candace, do you have evidence of this? Do you have a copy of this? And she said, no. And they said, well, the left is going to kill him. And I was like, I don't believe this. I don't believe it.
That's the thing. They're going to spin it again. It's just the same damn thing. It's Erika versus Candace, or it's the left versus the right, or it's MAGA versus this, or this versus that. They use these things to distract us from what we are actually trying to figure out, which is the truth. It is the truth versus the suppression of the truth. And you, if you're watching this, everyone who's watching this, we now have 2,100 people watching this. All of you guys should always be on the side of truth, not the suppression of it. And that should be a standard.
And we can say this too, not all truths belong to us in the sense that I don't care I do not care if, well, there's a fine line. Charlie and Erika's personal life, I don't necessarily care about. What he ate for dinner, I don't care. I don't care what he ate for dinner. I don't care if none of that. If it doesn't have anything to do with the public persona and this public assassination, and I'm not talking personal, like was he texting people behind the scenes that he wants to leave the Israel cause? No, I think that matters. But a lot of people are trying to bring in personal things about the marriage, and whether, like when Milo said that he thought he was gay, I'm like, man, none of that matters to what we're trying to talk about right now. And I think that's when it gets crazy.
That's the thing. I think a lot of that is just, a lot of that's just distraction. A lot of that is just distraction. And it is important to be able to see past that. So when I call things out, like, look, I'm not, just so everybody knows, I'm not just calling things out on one side. I'm calling it out on both. So there have been multiple times where I've said, listen, we don't need to focus on this. This is not the focus. It's the exact same thing that I said with Candace and Erika. I'm not just saying don't focus on Erika. I'm saying don't focus on Candace either. It's not about them. It's not about the relationship. It's about the truth of the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Because ultimately, that is what leads to everything else. That is the key. That's the reason we don't know. It's the reason why it happened in the first place. And ultimately, that's what's going on. But look, someone said earlier that Israel need to be a part of this conversation. It absolutely does. And this needs to be talked about because there are so many things that point to this country not only being involved, but also just the overwhelming coincidences that have now taken place since he died. I mean, you have Turning Point, who seems to be doing exactly what he didn't want to do, right? They're platforming pastors that are super Zionists. They're funding a geofencing campaign that targeted hundreds of thousands of Christians across the country to target them with pro-Israel ads. They are constantly platforming people that are part of PragerU, which I know that was a thing before too, but still, like, it seems like the Zionist agenda didn't stop. It got ramped up. And then on top of that,
the fact that he spoke out before Trump did too, like BB, like that was crazy.
I mean, dude, they were
should have
the
never
first ones
happened
to report it. Jerusalem Post was the first one to report it.
It should have never, ever, ever happened. Matter of fact, if I was Trump, the first phone call I would have made was, what the heck were you thinking?
Not to mention, how many times did Bibi Netanyahu get on a freaking like press conference or do an interview and talk about how he was innocent and how there's no way that they would kill him? Weird. It was, like, dude,
it's weird.
If you're innocent, you don't need to go on a massive. That's the other reason why I thought that the Turning Point stuff was so weird. It's like, dude, if you guys are innocent, you don't need to go on a full press tour to try and prove your innocence. You need to sit back, shut up, and let the truth come out. Yeah,
he should have said this right here. He should have came out and should have done the condolences, all the things, but been more like it was almost like there was no mourning in his face. It should have been like, wow. You know what? And then look at the government, the United States government said, Trump, we will work with you in this investigation, whatever you need from us, whatever, communications towards America, towards Turning Point, the donor list, whatever you need. we had absolutely, well, he wouldn't have to say this part, but show like we will comply with whatever you need from us. Like we want our hands washed of this part. We just want to grieve with the rest of the world. It could have been something like that, but he's coming out here. No, we didn't do that. And then how could we do that? He just wrote us a letter. It's like, wait a second. This seems so silly. It seems so silly.
And by the way, my insider at Turning Point, because I had insiders, I still have insiders that I've had for a while. I've been giving that information to people. And I've been posting it. If you guys have followed me, you've seen my posts. But my insider literally said that letter was 100% fabricated, because he's like, I got emails and I got things from Charlie all the time, and he did not speak like that. He even went so far as to point out at one point that there's a point in the letter where Charlie says that he wished he was with his family or something like that. And they were like, there's no way he would have said that, because he was always with his family, or it was just a part of it. Like, it wouldn't have been something that he would have said in that letter.
Point out, yeah.
So there's, and again, just add it to the list of things that don't add up when it comes to the freaking Charlie Kirk assassination. And that's the main reason that Candace is going so hard. And that's the reason that so many of us are, quote unquote, watching her and paying attention and supporting her, if you want to call it that. Like, but it's not about Candace and all these idiots out there that are saying that it's about Candace. It's the same thing that they do with Trump. It's the same thing to do with the right, the left, MAGA, all of it. It's all just psyop slop to make you think that it's team one versus team two and in-group versus out-group, so that all of us can't just say, you know what? Let's just stop for a second. Let's put our emotions aside, and let's just look at this logically and say, does any part of this make sense? And the answer is no. The answer is absolutely not. And because of that, it is our duty, not Candace's duty, it's all of our duty to try and figure out the truth. Because the first casualty of war is the truth. And we are allowing the truth to die right now by not supporting this effort to figure it out.
You're allowed to say these simple words out loud publicly on your own social media, in the comment section. You're allowed to say, I'm not buying that. And that's it. You don't have to elaborate on things that you don't know about. You don't have to get into geopolitics with Israel. You don't have to get into faith-based conversations if you don't have a wealth of knowledge on those things. All you have to do is say this: I don't buy that. Like, there's something about it. It's the same way with COVID. When the first thing that we saw was people in body bags being drug out in the street, my mind went, nope, we're not buying that. So when they were making all the kids put masks on in schools, my kid did not wear a mask. If you go through my kid's yearbook, everybody has a mask on except my kids. And I love it. I love it. I love it. I am so proud. It's better than any trophy I ever won in school. The fact that I can look through a yearbook and my kids aren't wearing masks, because I said from the get-go, I'm not buying that. And when that was the rock I stood on, I was allowed to ask questions from there. I was allowed to receive answers from there. I was allowed to do everything. But what I wasn't going to do was put blinders on and go, yeah, that makes sense because a doctor said it. Absolutely not. And I'm not making I don't care if BB says anything. And what I hate the most about this whole thing is it's gone from Turning Point, Candace, to Israel, and it's breaking down even into our movement. Which I would consider myself MAGA. I know you're going to hate that, but I would have. And for the longest time,
you can do what you want, man. I'm not.
I've been rocking Trump since 2016. And I'm like, whoa, okay, hold on. So we're all figuring this out. We're allowed to shift. We're allowed to move. And I'm sitting here going, I cannot believe that this is breaking down the conservative movement the way that it is when it comes to just your truth seekers now versus Christian Zionists. It blows my mind how we're into this conversation.
Here's the thing, though. So, hey, for everybody that was live on Instagram, sorry, I just had to grab something really quick, but you're back. I'm going to let you see the screen here. And you guys can see that screen. 1 sec. Let me just fix this for them, guys. Hang on.
Fix that. I'm going to use restroom.
Yeah, go for it. While he's doing that, I'm going to queue up some videos and stuff that we're going to dive into now. Guys, thank you so much for being here. Seriously, the support for my long form content has been overwhelming. I've always created the content on Instagram. I've always done my best to give you guys the most value I possibly can. But ever since I've started this long form content with streaming and podcasts and everything, like, It's awesome. The channel is growing like crazy. If you are not subscribed to my YouTube yet, please go subscribe to the Ian Wentz Show, my YouTube, and just follow along. I'm going to continue to do streams. I'm going to continue to do podcasts. I have some awesome guests that are coming up, some awesome episodes that are in the tank still that we're going to release. And I just appreciate, guys. I appreciate all your support. Again, if you want to support me on here, throw some super chats in and I'll answer them as I go. This one right here from Mia V86. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you too. Thank you so much. I appreciate the support. And just so you know, guys, like every way you support me here is going towards making this better. If you were on my Instagram live right now, you would see that my current setup is a TV sitting on top of a cardboard box, sitting on top of 2 crates. So like we're bootstrapping this thing. And it is what it is. You start somewhere, right? So I just want to say I appreciate you guys. I'm loading these videos up real quick, and then Ian, get you some sponsors. Yeah, I mean, I'm open to sponsors too, but it has to be something
sponsor yourself, bub.
Well, we are. Yeah, I already do that. It's got to be something I believe in. It's got to be someone I stand by. I refuse to be like everybody else and just pimp myself out to the highest bidder. I will not do that. I don't care how much money it is. So if there's sponsors out there, if you own a company and you want to sponsor my show or sponsor my streams, hit me up. We'll see what we can do. But yeah, I mean, to Blake's point too, you can support me. My company is the sponsor as well. Official Patriot Gear. You can support me there. Grab some gear. Officialpatriotgear.com. I'll put that in the chat. And let me pull up these videos. In the meantime, Blake, go ahead and riff on whatever, because I'm about to pull up these videos that are going to be our next. This stuff's going to blow people's minds.
All right, what do you want me to riff on? What is the question? Read the question out loud, Wayne.
Okay, yeah. Let's see. Oh well, the next thing was the Doge. We didn't mention the Doge thing. So we mentioned Charlie turning from Israel, but we did not mention the fact that he was doing a massive freaking audit on the company before he died. That's a really interesting situation, man.
Yeah. And I think this is what gives credence to a lot of things that people are saying, because not only do you have him communicating that he wants to leave the Israel cause, but he's also saying things like, I want to do a Doge on my company. Nobody says that unless they're worried about where money's going. And they want to find out not only where it's going, but where is it coming from. And if you're going to go as far as to initiate some type of Doge to your own company, knowing that this is going to be public and the things that you find are going to be known by the world, known by other donors, known by supporters, people that show up to SAS, people that show up to whatever, all their events, this could make or break a company. And this just let you know just kind of where he was on a moral standpoint. He was willing to out certain things to get to the bottom of certain things. And you just have to ask, what was he trying to get to the bottom of? And there's been a lot of good videos on this that I've seen. You've seen them, you've shared them, you've talked about them on your podcast, or at least on your lives that I've seen. And now I think there's something to be said there. There's definitely something to be said there. Now, do we know? We couldn't possibly know. And what's wild is the people that talk as if they do know. I would say stop doing that. You're allowed to ask the question, but if you don't know the answer, stop giving a concrete answer to act like you know what he found or what he was suspicious of. Him asking or setting it up alone is enough for you to inquire about it too. But until there's something, some of us look crazy out here, man. Like the speculation for some of us out here is just insane. And I think there's something there if it doesn't get muddied up with all the conspiracy stuff. And I think we both know where it's going to lean towards, but at the same time, now it's Andrew Colvit's got his own separate business out there, or he's paying for his house, his cars, his wife, whatever the case may be. I think there's something to be said. I don't think there's enough to jump the gun just yet.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I don't disagree, but that's
a diplomatic approach, by the way. I'm just being diplomatic with it because I don't know.
Yeah, I get it, bro. I'm gonna pull this up really quick. So hang on, let me find this really. Where the freak did it go?
What video are you pulling up?
I'll show you. I'm just gonna play it and then we're gonna talk.
All right.
So this is, all right, here we go. I don't know why it's not letting me pull my airdrop up. Or letting me airdrop these. It's being freaking weird. Come on.
While he's doing that, y'all go follow me on Instagram at BlakeReynolds.22
There you
and buy my merch. I don't have any merch, by the way. I don't have any merch.
All right. I think, yeah, I'm trying to freaking empty trash. There we go. Empty. Okay. Now let's try it again. If that doesn't work, there we go. Bang. It's because I had too much crap on my computer. All right. We're pulling this up now. Sorry to the Instagram. I keep on pausing it on the Instagram crowd. I apologize, guys. All right. Here we go. Hang tight. I'm pulling these up right now, and we are going to watch them through. I need to make sure that I have the right ones, though. So
y'all donate to this man so he can get somebody in there working.
Bro, for real. Like, this is wild. Okay, for years. That's how it starts. And if you could see what I'm doing right now, like, I got to go into these tiny, tiny, tiny little thumbnails and find this crap. And now I'm going to have to pull them up and find them that way. I definitely need somebody that can do this. So that's where your super chats are going, just so you guys know. I'm trying to hire a team so that I can do this faster. Because
that team member you're talking about would put them in a folder and label them.
Yeah, I know. A lot of things would be done.
Just throwing that out there.
A lot of things.
Throwing that out there.
I get it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, here we go. This is the last one. Let me just make sure. Boom. Okay, I'm going to pull this up and we're going to see if it's the right one. Just give me a minute here.
Come act lives change.
That's not it. Hold up. I think it's this one.
For years, we exposed hate, pressured institutions, and delivered a community did not choose, but one that we are now fully engaged in, confronting the global explosion of Jew hatred, unleashed since the attacks of 10.
So, for those of you guys that don't know, this is the founder of the Stop Anti-Semitism organization that is like so big on X and everything else. Okay, watch this.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me? Really?
Can't hear you. I couldn't hear the video either.
Could you guys hear that? Put in the chat if you guys can hear that video. Can you hear the video? You should be able to hear it. Hey guys, put in the chat if you can hear that video. Can you hear it? Yeah, they can hear it. I don't know what's going on, bro. Here we go. All right. Oops. Let's do this. Boom. Here we go. Tell me if you still can't hear it, Blake.
7. Stop Anti-Semitism was built for this. For years, we exposed hate, pressured institutions, and delivered consequences. But after 10/7, the scale of threat and the urgency of our mission changed dramatically overnight. Since that day, we have featured more than 1,000 anti-Semites on our platforms. 1,000. Not theorized about them, not quietly documented.
Just want to insert something really quick, by the way. This is the same organization that said that, what's her name? Miss, the hell's her name? Miss, what's her name?
I can't hear nothing.
You really can't hear anything? I don't know why you can't hear me. Miss, what is the lady's name? The one that's like the lady that always has the kids on her show and everything. What is her name? Miss Rachel. This is the organization that called Miss Rachel an anti-Semite because she had a little girl who was blown up and had her leg amputated on her show. And they called her an anti-Semite because she had this little girl on her show. Literally. All right, here we go.
Feature them publicly, clearly, and with evidence. The results speak for themselves. Approximately 400 of these Jew haters have faced real consequences, including firings, suspensions, and expulsions. More than 300 of them remain in an active investigatory state across universities, corporations, DEI departments, unions, hospitals, nonprofits, and yes, unfortunately, federal government agencies. And yes, 5 arrests to date tied directly to threats and violence of anti-Semitic conduct we helped expose. This is what accountability looks like. This is what action looks like. This is what pushing back hard looks like against the tidal wave of hate that has consumed the United States and global population. From our founding, Stop Anti-Semitism has operated on one guiding belief. Anti-Semitism thrives when there are no consequences.
Oh, but there's more. Blake, can you hear this or you still can't hear anything? Hold up. I got to figure out what's going on with Blake. Blake, can you hear me? I can't hear you now.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear all that.
All right. Did you hear the video?
Yeah.
Okay, we still got.
We created consequences, a lot of them. We created visibility. We turned the spotlight towards those who targeted on our community, making silence impossible. On campuses where Jewish students were hunted through libraries, where professors glorified Hamas and Hezbollah terrorists, where mobs shut down our buildings and administrators hid under desks, we stepped in. We documented the offenders, we worked with attorneys, lawmakers, and victim families, and we ensured the message was not mistakable. If you target Jewish students, your actions will not disappear into the darkness. We will shine a light on you that, thanks to Google and SEO, will follow you for the rest of your life. When you look for a job, when you look for a spouse, when you look for a nanny, when you look for anything, our work will always be documented, again, thanks to Google and SEO. In corporations where DEI leaders smeared Israel, excused Hamas, we pressured CEOs. Some resigned, many were terminated, but policies were changed, thankfully, from governmental to art institutions. Online, where anonymous accounts spread violent threats, we traced patterns, elevated evidence, and worked with authorities, leading to arrests from Florida, South Carolina, New York, California, and Texas. And we're not slowing down, sadly. Today, Stop Anti-Semitism, I'm proud to say, runs one of the most robust anti-Semitic enforcement operations in the United States, monitoring campuses, digital networks, activist groups, and public officials, documenting incidents in real time and mobilizing millions of people, of allies that are quietly by our side. But the fight is bigger than the exposure, and it's about securing a future. A future where Jewish students can walk across a quad without being screamed at. A future where employers understand that anti-Semitism is not activism. It's bigotry, and it will cause you to lose your job. A future where fact, not propaganda, shapes policy. A future where global institutions, from Google to GPT, from governments to universities to media, finally treats Jew hatred with the seriousness of other minority-targeted hate. To get there, we need 3 things: action, real action as I listed, accountability, relentless vigilance, because anti-Semitism does not take breaks. It doesn't wait for elections. It doesn't disappear because we are exhausted and tired. And when I tell you myself and my team are exhausted and tired, that's the least of it. Stop Anti-Semitism has never been more essential, more strategic, or more effective than it is now. But we cannot do this alone. The demand, the volume of tips, the number of investigations, sadly, it continues to grow instead of decrease. If we want a safer future for the Jewish people, this is the moment to stand together and act. We have to push harder to make it clear that Jewish safety is a non-negotiable. Tonight, I'm asking you to always be in the fight with us, not just in spirit, but in true action. Participate in calls to action. Write letters to your governmental officials. Speak to the teachers and the college administrators that are making, if it's not your friends and kids, it's making other community members feel unsafe. When we act, lives change. And anti-Semites learn, sometimes for the very first time in their lives and history, that targeting Jews will come at a price. And anti-Semites learn, sometimes for the very first time in their lives and history, that targeting Jews will come at a price. And together we can ensure that Jew hatred never goes unanswered again. As a former refugee from the USSR, I say this with all of my heart. God bless the United States. God bless Israel, and Am Israel Chai. Thank you so much.
All right, Blake, take it away, bro. How do we feel about that?
Oh, man.
How do we feel about that? That is, so I don't know if you could hear me when I was saying this, but that is the same account. That is the same organization that designated Miss Rachel as an anti-Semite because she brought a little girl who was in Gaza that got bombed and her leg got amputated. She brought her onto the show for an episode, and she was nominated as one of the anti-Semites of the year.
Yeah, bro, that I don't want to sound like a sissy when I say this, but that was scary. Like that's scary. That's scary. So for one, I was sitting there thinking, man, they saw that video I did the other day that went stupid viral. They saw that.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh my God, I'm probably on a list. You're on a list. If I'm not on the list, I'm on the list.
Damn sure on a list.
I'm on the list for being on your show right now. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Now, luckily, nobody's taking my job from me. Luckily, I'm not looking for a wife and all the things that she mentioned, but this is like Minority Report, and it's scary. They will kick in your door over something you post or you say, and I'm talking about your proverbial door right now. But to be labeled, okay, hold on. Let me back it up. There are some things that take place on campuses against Jews that I've seen. I've seen the Free Palestine movement going pretty hardcore. And for that, I would say, yeah, you know what? Maybe a college campus should address some of the things that I've seen. Now, when you're talking about somebody like myself or even you, to be labeled anti-Semite, Jew hater, whatever the case may be, because we question things about Israel, this is where it becomes scary, because you don't see me out holding up a Free Palestine flag. But to be labeled amongst them is a scary thing. To be charged amongst them is to be a scary thing. I remember back when I was in the 6th, 7th, 8th grade. No, it had to be 7th grade, maybe. I'm not real sure. 8th grade. We'll just go with 8th grade. There was Holocaust Museum. They set up all the shoes and stuff on the table. It seems like this has been happening my entire life, where this conversation has revolved around anti-Semitism and Jewish hatred, and you should have love for the Jews. Don't ask questions. They were persecuted. Hitler's bad. Stalin's bad. All the things. And it's like, okay, I've been knowing this, and I've kind of lived my life accordingly. I don't stand out on the street corner and say I hate Jews. I hate Jews. I hate Jews. But just to simply ask a question now, and to be labeled amongst them, that's a scary feeling, man. Everything that she just said was, we're going to rip your head off if we think you're an anti-Semite. And how do we label you as an anti-Semite? Well, it doesn't take much. And that right there, hearing that is scary to me.
Yeah. I mean, that's the reality, man. But that's where we are. And that's what I've been trying to say. And that's why I've been so loud about this, because I don't think people realize that that's where this is headed. I mean, she literally, here's the other thing about it too, bro. She literally, hold on, let me do this really quick. I'm just trying to freaking.
And I say scary in the sense that, like, there's a lot of people that's listening right now that all they do is listen. All they do is listen to the conversation. And amongst the people that are listening to the conversation, you'll have a group of the people that are listening to this conversation that will share certain information. They will share your post, or they'll like your post or whatever. But majority of the people are just always listening. For you, you might be safe. But for the people like us that actually use our platforms to speak out against certain things, that's why I say it's scary. It's not scary for the Blake that just is one that consumes information and digests it and forms a belief system around it. It's scary for the Blake that hears information, digests it, builds a belief system around it, and then speaks on it. That's the Blake it's scary for. So for a lot of people, they hear that and they're like, well, I don't care. I ain't hiding nothing. There ain't nothing in my phone, or I ain't saying nothing, or I ain't doing nothing. It's scary for the people that are, because what does it look like when they go after you? Now,
Well,
we can go.
It looks like. I can
Well,
tell you
yeah,
exactly.
I just didn't want to touch that was a hot button subject. I didn't want to go back to that, but for sure.
Well, no,
but we can go all the way back to JFK. We can go back to Jesus if you want to.
Forget JFK. Dude, here's the thing. I know what this looks like. And this is the other reason why I've been so loud about Israel and so loud about this obvious subversion in our country and the influence that they have over our politicians, and the fact that I believe that at this point we are a freaking uniparty and we are owned and operated by Israel. And the reason why I've said this is because all of the people that are coming at me and trying to tell me that I'm not, that I'm an anti-Semite and that this isn't true and that blah, blah, blah. It's like, bro, I've already been through this. We are experiencing exactly what we experienced during COVID, but at another level. I've said this so many times. I don't think COVID was a test run for a virus or for a pandemic. I think it was a test run for censorship. I think that it was a test run to see what they needed to do and how they needed to act and what needed to take place in order to completely censor not only the American people, but the world. And mark my words, you are going to start seeing stickers pop up on social media platforms, and you're going to start seeing those landing pages again. And it's not going to be talking about how vaccines are safe and effective. It's going to be talking about how Israel is our greatest ally and anti-Semitism is the greatest evil that you can possibly imagine. And anyone and everyone who is spouting anything different than that is an anti-Semite, is evil, is an enemy, is a domestic terrorist, is this, is that. How do I know that? Well, let me show you the next video.
And is sending a very strong message. Think about it. Ironically, I get off a plane. I am the president's representative, and I am walking off with a yarmulke, and I have kosher food, and embassies will have kosher food. It is a game changer. The appointment is a game changer. And it's not about history. It's about education. And how do we educate? Indonesia has 350 million Muslims living in the country. How do we change their textbooks? How do we hold the people in Gaza accountable that if America is paying for UN textbooks and supposedly the changes are made, why are those textbooks not being used, and why are they using their old textbooks? We have to teach people it's not okay to educate your kids to be a martyr. Okay? And we have to hold those countries accountable. How do we battle anti-Semitism on the internet? How are we doing better on algorithms? What companies can we work with? We are going to have a whole division within the office of the Special Envoy to combat anti-Semitism that is going to work on technology and working with the greatest leaders in technology, many of whom are Jewish and have offered their assistance. The office is going to be revamped entirely to be one of the highest profile offices in the State Department, because that's what the secretary wants and that's what the president wants. So we are going to have a very, very strong mandate on education, on protecting people, and how are we able to make a huge difference in combating what goes on.
Okay, so that's Trump's special envoy for Israel. And then, just to
I'm muted.
back it up.
I can't hear you.
Oh, can you hear? Can you hear me now? We good? Can you hear me? Still no? What the hell? Hold up.
I could hear the video. I just couldn't hear you. I can't
Can
hear you
me
now.
now? You can't hear me now? Still? One sec. Can you hear me now or not? Can you still not hear me? What the freak? Hold up. My audio's cut. One sec. Blake, can you hear me? What the hell, dude? Oh, you can hear me? Can you guys can all hear me? Oh, okay. All right. So you can all hear me. Blake can't hear me, but you can hear me. Yes? Okay, Blake, it's you, bro. Hey, it's you. It's you. They can hear me. They can hear me. Unmute your mic. I don't know why Blake is struggling here. I'm going to tell him really quick you can hear me and just let him know. Hang on a second, guys. Sorry, guys. I'm back. Oh, shoot. All right. Well, you have, I don't know what that says, bro. What does that say? You guys can all hear me. I don't know, bro. I don't know what's going on. I can, hang on. Unmute. Can't unmute your guest. Oh, hey, your mic's disconnected. Your mic is disconnected. Okay, there we go. All right. I'm going to let him figure that out. I'm going to put this up, though. Hang on a second. There we go. I can hear you now. Your mic was disconnected.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, your mic was disconnected. All right.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me? I don't know why you can't hear me.
Boy, you got tech issues, bub.
No, everybody can hear me. You guys can all hear me, right?
I can't hear you. I can't nothing.
You guys can all hear me, right? Everybody
Can they hear you?
Yes. Yes.
I'm like, hold on.
All right, I'm going to pull this up real quick, though. So just to prove the point, right? Because everybody's like, oh, yeah, but how does Trump actually feel? Well, this is how he feels, guys. I am proud to nominate Yehuda Koplon as the United States Special Envoy to monitor and combat anti-Semitism, ambassador at large. Yehuda is a successful businessman, staunch advocate for the Jewish faith and the rights of his people to live and worship free from persecution. With anti-Semitism dangerously on the rise, Yehuda will be the strongest representative for Americans and Jews across the globe to promote peace. Congratulations, Yehuda. So, I mean, dude, like the writing's on the wall. You know, the writing's on the wall, and that's the thing. I, along with many other people, have been speaking out about this. And this is where everything is headed. This is where everything is headed. And so, you know, it is what it is. And mark my words, this is what you're going to see the next wave of censorship, and it's going to be all about this, all about anti-Semitism. It's not about a pandemic. It's not about a virus. It's about anti-Semitism. And, you know, it's like, I don't know how people can't see that. Like, I don't know how I'm one of the only people that can see that. You there? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right, there we go. Yeah, dude, I don't know what it was. It was your mic that was disconnected and people couldn't hear you. But anyway, did you see that post I just pulled up from Trump?
Didn't see the Trump post.
He was basically just endorsing. I was basically just proving the point that he's endorsing this guy. like to the.
Oh, good God. Yeah,
That's
dude, that's it's all crazy. And I was sitting there thinking, bro, there's going to come a day where mine and your social media and people like us have a little stamp on it. You know how you have the blue check mark? There's going to be another check mark that will label us one way or the other.
Now think about that for a minute. Let's just talk about that for a minute, okay? Because it's really interesting how that works. Because what does that remind you of?
Yeah. But, bro, they're going to put a swastika on our social medias. That's what they're going to do.
But what does that remind you of? What happened to them back in the day?
It's gonna be like Auschwitz right here, bub.
It's gonna be like that star, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of weird how it's the same tactics being used by the people that supposedly, dealt with all that for so long. I mean, it's just, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, man, never again sure seems to look like it's never again for them, but not necessarily for everybody else.
Dude, I have so much to say on this topic, and I know
that's why you're here. Take it away.
To get in, this is why I said that we really need like an in-person situation. But I'll just say this:
there's almost 3,800 people listening to you right now. Take it away.
I'll say I'm not buying it, and I'm not going to fall for it, and I'm not going to stand down. I think this is where we dig our heels in. It's crazy that we are being, and they're going to do it to you as an individual first. And I'm not talking about you, but I'm talking to the listener. You as an individual will be made to feel a certain way first. And if they can make you feel a certain way when you're looking in the mirror, this is where it starts. So if you're already starting to feel like it, you're doing one or two things. You're either you're guilting yourself for thinking a certain way, or you're bucking against it. And I think if you're at the place where you're bucking against it, I think you're in a good spot. If you're one of those listeners like, I'm kind of iffy on this, I don't know exactly where I stand, this is exactly where they want you, because this is where they can train you. And it's already being done. Some of the stuff that Trump's doing, I'll never be behind it. A lot of the stuff that he's doing, I actually like. It's a weird thing, bro. It's just, I don't even know what to say other than I am 100% prepared to buck against the system when it comes to this. And I don't make, somebody called me an anti-Semite the other day for that Christmas post where they were taking Jesus out of Christmas songs. And I was like, man, we're going to kill Jesus again. Like, this is not good. And I was getting called anti-Semite, and I'm like, all I did was take a fact that somebody else stated, and I was like, wow, that's basically all I was saying. Now I added a little commentary to it, but it's wild that we're now at a place where we can be labeled anti-Semite so fast. You'd actually have to walk around with a skinhead and a swastika flag on your truck to be labeled that. And now just asking a question or not agreeing or not endorsing, of course Trump's endorsing it. What would he do? What would happen if he didn't? You know what I'm saying? They already took a crack at him once, and it's like, this is not good. This is not good, man. It's a matter of fact, I hadn't seen those videos that you posted, and I'm probably going to go to bed and I'm going to dream about it. And I'm just kind of blown away because we're the ones putting our neck out there, and it's like it's a scary thing because the first people that they're going to shut up is us. And what does it look like to shut us up?
First casualty of war is the truth. The first casualty of war is the truth.
And it is. And here's what's crazy.
Why do you think they are having whole ass conferences about Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens? They are having, I don't know if you know this, they are having straight up conferences, full on Jewish coalition conferences where they have 15 speakers come up on stage and talk for 30 minutes about how to get rid of Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It couldn't. This is my thing, man. This is why whenever I get on social media and I'm like going up against some of these Zionist MAGA influencers, I'm like, how do you not see what is staring you straight in the face? Like, it could be punching you in the nose and you would still be saying, "Ugh, I don't think this is what's actually happening." You're either an employee being paid for it, or you are that dumb. You are actually.
I think most of them are that dumb. You know, like I say this about. I always say this in some of my videos that people have a Ted Cruz understanding of the gospel, and when you have a Ted Cruz understanding of the gospel, the only thing that you know is what you've been taught. God says, "Bless Israel, and you'll be blessed." And then you have to sit back and ask the question: what does it look like to be blessed by God? What does it look like? What does it feel like? We would say that we're one of the blessed nations, most blessed nations ever. You know, like what does it look like to be blessed by God? Does this mean bombing innocent children in hospitals? Now I'm throwing that out there. Those are trigger words. But what does it look like? What are we doing? How are we blessing? And how does the blessing come back to us in return? And I can promise you, bro, it doesn't feel like a blessing going out, and it doesn't feel like a blessing going in. The only thing this actually feels like is blackmail going out and blackmail coming in. Like it's a weird thing. And then you got these social media influencers that are Zionist Christians that don't know a daggum thing about the Gospels, and they're promoting it as if this is what the book says. This is what the Bible says. It absolutely drives me crazy, and it's hard to have conversations with people that don't know anything. So oftentimes, you just stay mute on the subject because it's like, well, who am I educating? Are they even able to be educated? Or are they just, do they sound dumb? Or are they actually dumb? Because it's not even fun to have a.
That's the thing. There's a lot of people, believe it or not, that still don't understand what you're talking about. And one of the reasons why I wanted you to come on tonight was actually because I was hoping you would explain that. Like explain the subversion of Judeo-Christianity, and explain why it is that so many Christians believe that this whole bless Israel and be blessed thing is actually a thing, but explain why it's not. Explain why biblically it's not a thing. Because I can do that all day, right? But it's going to mean more coming from someone like you, who is a former pastor.
Well, I think a lot of times when I talk about this, especially when there's so many people watching, I think a lot of people most people know the macro truth on this. They just don't know how to word it. And I think sometimes the best way to word it, this is what I'm saying. The best way to word it sometimes, though, is just put it into its most simplistic form. And that's this: Jesus alone the gospel of Jesus, who he is, what he did. So a friend of mine one time said that his dad went over and was preaching the gospel in Israel. He was talking about Jesus, and he said they were spitting on him, and then they picked him up, put him in a van, and removed him out of the city. Like, you can do that over there, but you cannot do that here. And I remember looking at him, I go, what? I was like, in Israel, you're not allowed to talk about Jesus? So now I start researching, and I typed in people in Israel don't believe in Jesus or something. I can't even remember what I typed in. But there was this guy walking around, and they were interviewing people like, what do you think about Jesus? What do you think about Jesus? What do you think about Jesus? And the fact that a lot of them had like, who are you talking about? And then the ones that knew who you were talking about, they just laughed it off like, oh, that guy, like, yeah, some people believe in him. Some people, like, he's this, he's that, he's the other. And I was like, whoa. Something's missing. And then this is when I started to kind of just wake up on a theological sense. And I was like, something's not right. Something is definitely not right. I thought that Jews believed in Jesus, that they loved Jesus. And I not talking about what took place in the Bible, but like, I feel like everybody's coming around to like, hey, at least we're respecting him as Jesus. And I was young in my faith at the time. And then I realized, wow, they still feel today about Jesus as they did then. So what's the most simple thing we can throw out? No one comes to the Father except by him. Okay, what does that mean for the people that don't believe in him? What does it mean for the Jews that don't believe in him? Well, then they wouldn't get in. Either we are completely wrong about who Jesus is and the Bible and the things that took place and what it means to be a Christian. Either we're completely wrong and they're 100% right and we're wasting our time, or we're 100% right and they are in danger of going to hell and they're not as chosen as they think they are. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, so who's the chosen people? And then I come to, I read the Bible. And I'm like, wow, Christians are the chosen. We're the ones chosen. We have been grafted into this thing. The Bible even says that Jesus is the firstborn among many brethren. That is us. We are the brethren. Jesus was the firstborn. And you get in this whole conversation, it's like, Jesus wasn't a Christian, bro. And I'm like, well, can Jesus not predate his own fan club? You know, that's like saying Buddha wasn't a Buddhist or John Calvin wasn't a Calvinist. Like Jesus is the Son of the living God. We understand that. He come down through a virgin birth. He lived a sinless life. He died on the cross, resurrected in 3 days. We believe that, and that is an elementary truth to the gospel. Understanding that is the very first step in salvation, is just believing in the one he sent. Jesus even said that, believe in the one he sent. They don't believe this. They do not believe this. And matter of fact, you would get spit on for saying it. And I'm like, how in the world do these two things coexist?
Yeah, but only once by a little kid, according to Brandon Tatum.
No, I just told you a story that blew my mind. And when my friend says Dad was preaching the gospel, that I was like, I didn't know that. Well, you've seen videos of them guys just spitting.
Yep.
That elementary truth alone is enough for me. And then you have to break it down. You remember when Jesus gave this parable and he said, hey, go invite everybody to come into this feast. And they went in and invited all their neighbors. And who do you think the neighbors were in this parable?
Yeah.
They were the Jews, right? They were the
Jews. Right.
And then he said nobody wanted to come. And then what did he say in the parable? He said, okay, go out into the highways and byways. Invite everybody because I want this house to be full. I want my house to be full. Then all of a sudden you see Jesus did his thing, but then you see his disciples go out into the world and the Gentiles, the Jew and the Gentiles. Now you got everybody coming in. I mean, all of Hebrews 10, if you look at Hebrews 10 and when I guess it would be Paul, when he is, people are now saying that it was absolutely not, but for the most part, we believe that Paul wrote Hebrews. If you read it, the Jews were still practicing sacrificing animals. Do you remember this part in the Bible?
Yeah.
Do they have that in the Mormon Bible, right?
At the end of the day, that's the thing. It's all about this idea of dispensationalism. Like they still practice the Old Testament. They still believe that the law of Moses is the law. And the fact is, this is the simple fact that I just go off of. Jesus Christ fulfilled the law. Mm-hmm. He came and he said, I am the law. All this stuff that you guys are doing, that's been great. But now it's not. Now this is what we do. Now This is what's important. Now this is what you do. And at the end of the day, you follow me. And the same people these days that are telling us that they're the chosen people of God are the ones that killed him.
Yeah. Well, so this is what he told them.
They called him a false prophet. They still to this day don't even believe that he's a prophet. They believe he's a dude that rebelled against the Romans.
Yeah. Well, and if you look at what he said to him, and I think this is probably one of the most important passages of scripture that helped me to understand that this dichotomy here is, he looked at them and said, for the ones that are still doing this, not only did he call it worthless, he said it means nothing. He said, you're counting the blood of Jesus as worthless as dung. You're counting it worthless. And when you hear that, there's obviously a difference. Something had been shifted. Something had been fulfilled. Paul was actually talking about something different. Now, Paul being one who persecuted Christians, because it's like, well, the Jews didn't actually kill Jesus. Okay, let's get away from that argument. What about the Christians that they killed? Paul was standing there when they stoned Stephen to death. Matter of fact, he was standing there holding the jacket the cloak while they stoned Stephen. Like, this actually took place, the persecution of Christians.
Who stoned him?
The Jews. And not only that, they were killing Christians everywhere. They were killing Christians everywhere.
The best argument that I always hear is them saying, well, Jesus was a Jew. Yeah, and like the point is, he came as the rebel. He was creating a rebellion against the traditional law. He was creating basically a rebellion against all that they had been doing, in a way that he came and he said, I am the Son, I am the truth, I am the law, and that's it. And like Israel or the chosen people simply became followers of Christ. Yeah. Those who follow Christ, Christians. You can't. It's like you said. It's the most asinine thing in the world
you remember
assume
when
that the people that don't believe him are the chosen people of him. Like,
yeah, Saul.
what are we talking about?
So Saul was knocked off his donkey and he was blind. And you remember the voice from heaven that said to him, "Why are you persecuting me? Why are you killing me? Why are you killing my people? Like, why are you doing this?"
Yeah.
And this is when he had a wake up moment. He goes into the third heaven and then he comes back and he's like this whole different person. Now he's preaching, he's writing majority of the New Testament. And it blows my mind how people do not see that something shifted. There's a new covenant. There's something else that took place. And to break out the Bible and start explaining scriptures and to talk about scriptures, there has to be so much control, alt, delete that happens in people's lives for them to be able to understand simple truths, because it has been so muddied. The waters have been so muddied by people trying to understand this person of Jesus. This is why you have like your non-denominational churches, I think, do better with this, because they don't get wrapped up on, I think, some of the, like Ted Cruz definitely didn't go to a non-denominational church. You know what I'm saying? Like he's wrapped up in his Sunday school.
Ted Cruz is a freaking slave to the Schofield Bible.
He really is. He really is.
Straight up. That's all he is. And he doesn't even know the Bible. He has been indoctrinated his entire life about Judeo-Christianity and the Schofield Bible.
Well, and it's probably it's most of them.
Gets paid. I mean,
yeah, it's most of them. That's why when you actually quiz them on it, like Tucker Carlson did so beautifully, by the way. He's like, yeah, you know, it's in there.
Pull that clip up, but it'll probably.
Yeah, he's like, it's in there. You know, it's in there. And then Tucker Carlson tells him where it's at, and it's like, what about the rest of the Bible? What about the New Testament? What about the New Testament? Are we going to throw this away? But if you look, when Jesus says you're like your father Satan, who's he talking to? When he said you're like a brood of vipers, who's he talking to? He said this right here: you've turned my father's house into a den of thieves and wolves. What is a den? Well, it's a place where
flipping tables, bro. Flipping tables.
And I get it. It was the money change and different things, but what they were doing was robbing God's people of like going in there and being able to do this. Now, this was pre the cross. This is pre-resurrection. This was still a thing. Jesus wasn't going to be like, nope, you can't come in here on Passover. You can't do this. You can't do this. Like you said earlier, Jesus fulfilled the law. We didn't say he replaced it. We say he fulfilled it. It was fulfilled.
And also, what did he say about sacrifices, right? Like, what did he say? When he came, what did he change about sacrifices? Because sacrifices was a big part of the gospel and of the law of God for a long time, right? What did he say? What did he say? He's the sacrifice. He is the lamb, right? It's no longer about sacrificing animals. He is the ultimate sacrifice. His atonement is the ultimate sacrifice for the believers of Christ and for the sons and daughters of God. So he became all of that. And dude, it makes sense. It makes sense why this has been twisted and changed and manipulated for so long, because I mean, dude, it's literally the antithesis. The antithesis, is that the word?
Antithesis.
Antithesis that of everything that Judaism stands for. It just is. And listen, every time I talk about this, people are like, "Oh, you're anti-Semitic." No. Go, like, this is a fact. I'm just stating facts. I am not tearing one down or the other. I'm a Christian, and I'm just saying these people don't believe in Christ. Straight up. It's not a anti-Semitic thing. It's just a fact.
Well, let me ask you this.
I hate these people. Does it mean no? Just like I don't hate people that believe in aliens that are going to come down and like rapture them with whatever. Like, I believe what you want. I don't give a crap. I don't hate you because of what you believe, unless you're trying to hurt me or mine or take away our freedom, right? I believe in the freedom. I believe that freedom does not end where religion begins. And that is one of the main reasons that I push so hard against Zionism, because Zionism is that. Zionism is our religion dictates everyone else's freedom. Our religion dictates our belief in our religion, right? Our God told us in our scripture that this is ours, and so we're going to take it regardless of who's hurt, regardless of whose freedom it affects. I'm not okay with that, because that is the opposite of what Christ stood for. He stood for free agency. He stood for people making choices. He stood for righteousness. He stood for, and so that is the biggest thing with me is it's like when I point these things out, I'm about to drop a podcast episode with Cato DeZora that I'm like, it's going to blow people's minds. But literally for 4 hours straight, Blake, all we talked about was Judaism and just understanding Judaism. And it's not about tearing it down. It's just about understanding the religion. And the fact is, and by the way, Jewish people know this and also agree with it. Judaism, the actual beliefs of Judaism are not compatible with Christianity.
And they will tell you that. They will tell you that in a heartbeat. There's obviously a lot of videos that kind of get thrown to the wayside that we might see, and even the people watching this right here might see, but they're not mainstream. But it's like, I wish I saw one the other day, and this rabbi was pretty much just crapping on Christians, crapping on, American religion, basically, just Christian religion, basically. And I was like, why don't people see this? Like, I want people to see this right here. I shared it. And obviously those videos don't go too far on our algorithms and different things, but people need to see this truth. And it has nothing to do, this is not a hatred thing. The only reason that I even speak up on this subject is because I'm tired of people beating me over the head about something that's not even true. You're not going to convince me that Jews today, the Israel that you see today is God's chosen people. You're not going to convince me. Now, for the Jews that believe in Jesus, I can be convinced of those ones because they're just like me and you. We are now brothers in Christ. We are grafted into this thing together. But you're not going to convince me that a bunch of people that hate Jesus, that will spit on Christians and kick them out of their city for preaching the gospel. You're not going to convince me that that's a chosen people. I'm sorry. It's just not happening, brother. Like, it's not happening.
Which it shouldn't. It shouldn't. It's not like, it's just not. And that's the thing too. Someone said Zionism is different than Judaism. It's true. Zionism was begun as a political movement. Mm-hmm. Actually, I shouldn't say that. It wasn't begun as it became a political movement. Yeah. The Zionist regime of Israel is not representative of the actual belief of Zionism, because at the end of the day, dude, this is just like saying that if I don't support BLM, that I'm a racist because I think all black people don't deserve to live. It's the dumbest thing and the most low-hanging fruit argument, and they know that. But basically, when people say, "Oh, you don't believe that Israel has the right to exist," I believe that everyone has the right to exist. I believe that every country has the right to exist. No one is saying it doesn't. Absolutely, no one is saying that. What I am saying is you don't have the right to unexist everyone else because of your right to exist. You need to figure out a way to.
Well, Charlie Kirk said that. Charlie Kirk said basically what they're going to do is ethnically cleanse Gaza. And
exactly.
It's like, whoa.
And that's what they did. That's what they did.
Here's what's crazy. They are politically, now this is politically because they can't just go guns blazing over here. Not even our own government can do it. What they're doing is trying to politically cleanse America. Ethnically cleanse America. I don't know if that makes sense, but basically they want everybody over here to see life through the lens of Jews. And I'm sorry. I think they have a right to exist. We love Jewish people. I've never had an issue with it. It's never been an issue. It's truly never been an issue.
Most of the people that I know that are Jewish, and I know a lot of Jewish people. This isn't one of those like my best friend's black. I know a lot of Jewish people. And what's so funny is all the Jewish people I know hate Bibi Netanyahu. They're saying that Bibi Netanyahu is actually the main reason why so much anti-Semitism has risen and exists, which they're not wrong. All the true anti-Semitism that has risen in this country, and it's real, just like racism rose in the country during BLM. Like it is absolutely a truth that it is happening, and it is real. It's not as far spread or as crazy as the media makes it.
Give me a definition of anti-Semitism real quick.
Like you know what? It's not even anti-Semitism. Let's just because anti-Semitism by definition is, and we talked about this. Me and Clyde talked about this. Semites. The Palestinians are actually closer Semites than the current people in the state of Israel. That's a fact. So it's not even anti-Semitism is a co-opted label that has been given to create this insane demonization of anybody that criticizes the government of Israel. That's an absolute reality. What it really comes down to is,
so by definition, we're not anti-Semites.
No, I'm not an anti-Semite, and I don't care if you call me one. I'm not. I don't hate Jews.
And I only say that to prove a point. But this is where they've gone with it. This is where they've gone with it. You're no longer an anti-Semite, as you heard the lady say. She has to throw in all these other words like Jew hater.
Exactly.
You're a Jew. Like, okay, now I would say this, and just some rational logic. What do I hate? What do I hate about them? And I would ask anybody, go through my content, go through what do I hate? I tell you what, this is I say this is what I would hate. It's not a Jew. But what I do not like is somebody trying to force beliefs on me. I hate that.
Exactly.
I hate when you tell me I'm something because I don't do A, B, and C, because I'm not out here.
Because that's called because that goes against everything we believe as Americans. We believe in freedom, okay? And whether we want to admit it or not, we believe in freedom over everything. That means that if you're not hurting someone, if you're not stealing someone's property, if you're not causing them damage or causing them harm, they have the freedom to be who they want to be, believe what they want to be, live the way they want to live, period, end of story. That is freedom. That is supposed to be the beauty of America, right? But it's being co-opted. It's being used and weaponized against us. And so what I was getting at is this. I shouldn't even say that anti-Semitism is rising. What is rising, what there is a lot of, more than there has been in the past.
It's fatigue, man. It's just the fatigue of it.
And that is seen as Jew hatred.
As Jew hatred, yeah.
Exactly. But the reality is that comes because of the decisions of the Likud party in the political ethno-state of Israel. That's why. It's because of Bibi Netanyahu, Smotrich, Ben-Gvir, and all these insane psycho-Zionists that just decided that they were going to turn Gaza into a parking lot and then tell everybody that, it's because they're terrorists. Like, it's the craziest thing that we just experienced. And that is why this is rising. And so it's like, I say the same thing all the time. Nobody can make me something I'm not. I dare you to go through any of my content and find one time that I say the words the Jews when it's related to anything in general. I am not somebody who labels an entire people about anything, because I don't believe that an entire group of people are guilty when it's the sins of a few of them, or even the majority.
The government.
There's always good people in every single group, in every single walk of life, and that's just a fact.
I would say that we would in conversation, especially people on our side, when we say Israel, we're talking about the government of Israel. We're not talking about the people
in Israel. No,
we're not
talking about the people in Israel. I'm talking about the government.
This is what's crazy. We can question our own government from sun up to sundown. Nobody says a word. But the second you question Israel, you're anti-Semite. This is the part of it that I hate. This is a conversation because
said that in one of his last interviews, that interview with Megyn Kelly. Go watch it, everybody.
Yeah, he said it.
He said that. He said, I can criticize my own government, but I'm not allowed to criticize a foreign government. And he said, I'm supposed to put that government in that country before my own. I'm an American. I'm America first. Right?
Yeah.
And what happened to him?
Dude, see, I even get in trouble in the church scene for this type of stuff because somebody said, well, Blake, how could you say the Jews aren't God's chosen people? I was like, let me ask you this question. Are Christians God's chosen people, yes or no? Well, not the same as the Jews. I'm like, hold on a second. Let's just put it in simple conversational, just logic. Are Christians going to heaven? Yes or no? I'm asking you now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in my opinion, based on my beliefs, it's based on how they live their lives and whether or not they follow the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Christians. Okay. We're just going to say Bible-believing Christians, people that walk out their faith, all the things. Yes.
Yes.
Are people that don't believe in Jesus going to heaven?
Not by my beliefs.
Then how does it exactly?
Then Jesus Christ is your Savior. You need to follow His gospel.
Well, they believe that before the end of it, they're going to have an awakening. And then I go, okay, well then, so there has to be an awakening. Why can't I be the one that bring it to them? Why can't I be the one that asks those questions?
I mean, but dude, that's a good point too, because it's like, oh, well, they believe that they're still, so all these Christians that still believe that they're the chosen people, they're going based off the fact that, well, they're going to wake up one day. Like,
yeah,
we're just, you just got to be patient with them.
And then you go,
you have to give them all your money. You have to give them all your allegiance. You have to cancel your friendships and cancel your families and be okay with them canceling people's jobs. And you have to be okay with this because eventually they're going to wake up to the truth. And we're just going to be like, told you so, even though you ruined my life.
And this is what I would say. So are the Muslims. So are the Buddhists. So are the cannibals in the Congo. Everybody's going to awaken one day. Everybody's going to be awake to the truth one day.
The ability to accept Christ as their savior at some point, but every single knee will bow and every tongue confess that Jesus Christ is the savior of the world.
There's a song that says that right there. It goes, it's cheesy, but it says like one. Okay, I'm not going to sing it. I'll just say it. It says, one day every knee will bow, one day every tongue will confess that you're God. But then the end of it says, but basically greater things, I don't even remember. I would have to sing it to remember, but basically for the ones that choose him now, better for you is the ones that choose him now. And there is truth to that, but it's like, okay, so to say that there is no Christ, to say that there is no Christ or that Jesus isn't Christ, would that not be considered antichrist? And so if
they believe that
everybody believes that everybody believes that the Antichrist will be the beast, and there's certainly an aspect of that is true. But the Antichrist is a system. The Antichrist is a belief. Antichrist is already among us. Just walk out into the streets and talk about Jesus. Antichrist already exists. And it's like, Blake, well, how can you say that? Well, guess what? Everybody gets away with saying God. Nobody says anything when he says God. So when celebrities go, I just want to thank my God. I just want to thank God, and everybody claps. Why does nobody say, I want to thank Jesus Christ? Now there's some that do, but guess what? They get ridiculed. The spirit of Antichrist is already among us. And guess what? I will say, oh, Lord, help me.
Everyone clip this one. Here it comes.
I will say that Israel has always been a hub for it. It was in Jesus' day, and it's still today. Now, that's not to say that it's not.
You know what? You're not. Guess what? That's not anti-Semitic. That's not anti-Semitic. And you want to know why? I'm going to prove it. Keep going. 1 second, guys. If you're on this stream, stay on. I'll be right back. Go ahead. Keep going. Not you guys on the stream. The people on IG right now.
It's not to say that people. Well, what about the terrorists, Muslim terrorists? Well, they're antichrist as well. It's not. Well, you would choose a Muslim over a Jew, and it's like I'm not choosing neither. This is not what we're doing. Why does it got to be broken down into this? I think Muslim terrorists should get the heck up on out of here. I think anybody that hates America should get the heck up on out of here. But when we're talking about religion and when we're talking about Christianity, listen, if you don't believe in Jesus, I can't place you in the same bubble that I live in, the one that gets to go to heaven. If you don't believe in Jesus, how in the world does the same things that apply to me apply to you if you don't believe in Jesus? It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't seem like a very just God if that's the case. You know what I'm saying? If he's so righteous and he's so good and he's so true and he's so just, then how is that acceptable? Why am I held to a different standard than Jews? Why am I held to a different standard? And it doesn't make sense, bro. I'm like putting myself, if I explain this to a 5-year-old, they would get it so easily. But we've been so brainwashed from the time that we were doing flannel graphs in Sunday school. And you have to control, alt, delete so many ways of thinking when it comes to the things of Scripture that it will not make sense to you unless you go, you know what? I might need to get away from mainstream church for a second and just not be influenced by anybody and only just read my Bible and listen to the Holy Spirit for myself. If that doesn't happen, I don't, because there's not a lot of pastors out there that are teaching the Bible, I think, in the right way. And the ones that probably could, they stay away from it because they know half their church will leave.
Dude, I couldn't agree more. I'm trying to. I gotta find this video. Just hang tight. Everybody, hang tight. I promise it's worth it. Let me find this video. I gotta freaking search for it. But basically, right out of the words, right out of the mouth of a pastor, he literally admits what Blake just said. That a lot of the subversion, a lot of the anti-traditional family, a lot of the LGBTQ stuff, all of it comes from one place. He says it himself. Okay, it's not this isn't like an anti-Semitic trope. Like this is, oh man, I gotta find this video. I had it on my phone, but I deleted it because I had no room. But hang on, let me find
because
it.
even me as a Bible believing Christian, I would love to go to Israel and see the places that Jesus walked. I would love to see the tomb. I would love to experience all that. I know my parents went, but I promise you, I'm not going as a Zionist Christian. I'm just going as a Christian that would love to just experience it.
All right, exactly. All right, I got it. I'm gonna pull it up right now. Hey, right now, guys, we appreciate you. Seriously, it's awesome. 4,700 people watching right now. Seriously, thank you so much for the support, guys. Make sure you follow Blake. Blake Reynolds .22 that's on Instagram. And then please subscribe to my YouTube if you haven't yet. Please subscribe to my X if you want some subscriber-only content. That's how you can support me too. And then obviously my business, officialpatriotgear.com. Look, I don't ask you guys to send me like Cash App or Venmo or whatever. I haven't been able to monetize my platforms for years because of censorship. I finally can. But that being said, the best way to support me is buy some gear, support my business, support me, the families that I employ. That's the best way. Officialpatriotgear.com. If you want to throw some super chats up, though, I appreciate everybody that already has. And if you want to throw some up, I'll answer them as we go here. But please hit the subscribe button and make sure you follow Blake. And then let me pull this up.
I would like to get to some of their questions, though, so because I'm gonna have to. It's almost 12:30 over here on the.
I was going to say you're late over there. That's right. Hang on one second. Let me put this up, and then we'll do that. Yeah, we can end it in a little bit anyway because
you already got me on a list. That's what you are.
Hey, this is a good conversation.
We're gonna get kicked in.
Look at the chat, man. Everybody's enjoying this. There's
and here's what's crazy
right now. Freaking 12 at night on East Coast. Like, come on.
Even everything that I said, I still right now don't believe that I said anything bad. I don't think I said anything Jew hatred.
You didn't.
I feel like I feel like this should be a universal truth right here.
It is. Watch. Okay.
When I read Hitler, and I've read a lot of Hitler, and I've read also really like the whole. I'm a student of World War II and the Holocaust, but also World War II in general. There's no question that Hitler and the Nazis were fueled by old anti-Semitism, old goblin-like anti-Semitism. You know, the hook-nosed Jew controlling everything, that whole thing.
You hear that coming out in him, too.
Right?
He's like, grab them by the phone and say, "You Jew!"
Yeah,
right.
Like, there's something
the strong Aryan white and the sniveling weak Jew.
Right.
You hear that in his messaging there.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point. There is definitely a throwback, and he even says, "What do you think? It's just a throwback?" It's like, yeah, it is a throwback. But there's another side to it, which is something that I don't know if you're going to be comfortable talking about, but he's also angry at the leftiness of American Jewry. He's angry at progressiveness, which has brought in all the gay movement, the LGBT movement. The Jews have led all that stuff. And the Hollywood, which has sown a lot of immorality, a lot of stuff that Jewish people do bring. See, the real truth is, you and I, we're red. If we were states, if we were American states, we're red state guys, okay? And so many of our, basically in the three big ones, Bible, family, nationalism, defense, we're red, the way we look at things, okay? But to deny that the Jewish people have a strong, strong blue streak, and in America, bluer than red, and that all the progressive organizations are all run by Jews or have Jewish people, or have Jewish money, to deny that Soros has a huge impact on this world and has a huge impact on the American agenda, to deny that these things exist, and that he's saying, you're taking our country in a way that is not its natural way. There is an argument to be made there. Hitler made the same argument. He was very concerned about communism. And he wasn't wrong that the Jews were the leaders of the communist movement. They took over the Soviet Union. it was many ways a Jewish thing.
Yeah. So anyway, miss me with the Blake is being anti-Semitic bullcrap, because that was your own. I mean,
Yeah, but you know, and here
can't be argued. It's a fact.
let's add to this, so people, for the immature mind, let's speak to this real quick. We're not saying that they're the only ones.
No,
Certainly America has
No.
birthed its own problems.
no,
Muslim
We're
countries
just
have their own
saying-
issues, but we
Yes.
can't act like they're just this.
no.
They get a godly pass, because it's just not true, man.
Exactly.
It's not true.
And a lot of it has to do with the fact that dude, we went really, really deep into this in the podcast episode I'm about to drop, but a lot of it has to do with the fact that a lot of them actually believe that the subversion of values proves even more that they are chosen. It proves even more that they are the chosen people of God, because they themselves don't, quote unquote, participate in these things, but they put it on the rest of the world. And we don't need to go into all that because it's very, very deep. But bottom line, you're right. We're not saying it's only the Jewish people that are bringing this stuff into the world. That's not the case. But you absolutely have to realize that they are part of the people bringing it in. And your boy just said it. Okay. That guy, by the way, for everybody that's going to clip this and say, oh, he's using some like self-hating Jew. No. This is the same guy that said that the main reason why societies fall, literally in the same conversation, he said the reason why most societies fall, he might have even said because of the reason all societies have fallen is because of anti-Semitism. Okay, so miss me with the idea of like this guy is on our side or he's some self-hating Jew. He is very clearly a proud Jewish man who believes in all the things that most Jewish people believe in. He's just willing and able to say the truth. Mm-hmm. And it is what it is. It's not a matter of anti-Semitism. It's a matter of truth.
Yeah.
And so look,
he's speaking to what has led people to the conclusions that because he's not going to deny the fact that he's a Jew, but he also says, I'm willing to admit this right here. Most people won't say this, but I'm willing to admit a lot of the perversion that we see today was birthed there, the hub of it right there.
It's the same thing as saying that a lot of the reason why there's so much violence in the world is because of Christianity. Mm-hmm. I mean, look, it's not wrong,
dude. There's just a lot of history, bro, that we don't know, and this is what sucks. Because if you go back to the days of the Crusades,
religion in general is the main reason why there's so much violence and vitriol in the world, and there always has been, because it is the true battle of good and evil.
I would gladly say, even for Christians, go back to the days of the Crusades. If what we see in the movies is true, let's just say if what we know about history is true, that was one of the most ungodly, barbaric, sinful way of living ever. Like that's not the way that we practice Christianity today. We don't barge into Wyoming and make sure everybody there is a Christian or else. Like this. It was even if you go back into the days when, you see like in old Westerns, the Mormons that would come and they would have their little camps. And if you weren't Mormon, they would, and then even the Christians, when they were trying to ethnically cleanse the Indian population, putting them in Catholic schools and abusing them and different things. It's like every religion has this bad light shined upon it. And we're willing to admit that.
Because of man.
Yeah, it's man.
It's because of natural man.
But what we can't do though, and this is the point for saying this is we can't do this to every religion, but the Jewish one. If we can speak all this truth to all the other ones, we should be able to speak it to the Jews as well. You can't say just because you're Jews, everything that you're doing has gotten a stamp of approval by God on it, because it does not.
And that right there is the number one reason why so many people are starting to wake up to the subversion and also getting extremely frustrated with the state of Israel and these people, because what's happening is that is the way that they operate. The way that this lady who's the founder of anti-Semitism, Stop Anti-Semitism, like all of these people, the Randy Fines, her, the dude that's the envoy to Trump, all of these people operate under the pretext of we are God's chosen people. We are the exception to everyone and everything, and we can do no wrong. And that is the problem, because everybody with a freaking head on their shoulders is saying, huh? What? What are you talking about? Everyone is capable of sin. Everybody is fallible. Every single human being of any religion and any race and any color and any walk of life is not perfect. And no one gets a pass. And now you're telling me that you do get a pass? No. Sorry. No. That's not how
we don't even allow our own kids to have that mindset. Like when my kids have friends come over, let's say there's a party or whatever, and let's say we got 15 kids in the house. That don't mean my kid is allowed to jump up and down on the couch with his shoes on. You know what I mean? Like, and then so if another kid goes, hold on, I don't think you should be doing that. This is my house. It's okay. No, and I know that's a silly analogy, but it's still true. I don't walk in the room and go, he's my chosen son. He could do that. No, I'm the first one. I walk in, I'm like, hey, what are you doing? Have you lost your mind?
Happening. That's a perfect analogy, because that's exactly what's happening right now. And it's freaking wild, because everybody's falling lockstep in line with it.
Yeah, it's like now because you're jumping on the couch, you got 14 of your Yahoo friends now jumping on the couch with you. And whose fault is this? This is not your friend's fault because this is not his house. And then you got the friends over there going, hey, your son said as long as we bless him, he will bless us. So we're not in trouble.
And then the kid that's laying on the couch because he's like watching TV or something, the dude jumps on him, breaks his nose, and says, well, he shouldn't have been laying there.
Yeah.
He shouldn't have been laying where I'm jumping.
We just fell into a perfect analogy is what we did. Actually. Yeah, it's like he shouldn't have been standing there, and it's like you got a 3-year-old toddler on the ground just getting trampled by my middle schoolers.
Kids. Yeah, the 3-year-old shouldn't have been there. Like, we tried to jump around him.
Yeah,
we just broke every one of his bones in the process. Sorry.
Yeah, and here's what's crazy. Here's what's wild. I would never in that situation as a dad. Not just excuse it. I think that would be too fair to excuse it. I would make sure that everybody in the room saw my son get disciplined.
Get punished for it. Yeah.
Everybody would see it, because I want you to go tell your parents, hey, Kingston was jumping up and down. His dad came in and he was not happy. And then that mom's going to go, were you on the couch too? And next thing you know, I'm getting a phone call from their mom. I'm so sorry. My son was jumping on the couch, blah, blah, blah. This is the way the world works. There's checks and balances everywhere fairly. Yeah. If you take away the checks and balances from Israel for the sake of blessing them, or God won't bless you, you can't say nothing bad about them. I think God sits back and goes, no, I'm not even cool with what they're doing right now. Do not bless that, because then you're going to get in trouble too.
Yeah. So now let me give you another scenario, and then we're going to jump in one more thing, and we're going to call it after a couple questions. So here it is. Ready? So let's pretend that little boy goes home with a broken arm and tells his mom and dad that your sons were the ones that jumped all over him and broke his arm, right? If they called you, who are you going to be angry at?
My son, for sure.
Your son, right? Yeah.
No.
But see, recently, a similar situation happened with some grape. And when the parents called the dad of the kids out on it, the dad got pissed because someone told the parents.
Yeah.
Not because the kid freaking broke the kid's arm.
Yeah.
He got mad because they got caught.
And this should have never made it back to you.
Exactly. And that right there is the difference.
Who told you your son broke his arm at my house?
Yeah, exactly. Let me hunt him down. We're going to hunt him down, and we're going to end their career.
I want to know who told you. Well, my son did. He'd come home with a broken arm. It's like, let me talk to your son.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you call the son's, then you call that lady's son's sister and pay her $7,000 to say it didn't happen.
All right. Here's what we're gonna do, guys. We got one more thing we want to talk about. We want to talk about Bondi. I know you guys have been waiting. We're gonna go over that really quickly. I got one video to play for it because I think a lot of people haven't seen it. In the meantime, please put your questions in the chat. Super chats, okay? Throw the super chat questions up. We will answer them all before we end this, and we'll go from there. So before we go into Bondi, I just want to say this video that I'm about to show you is the main reason why I believe it is an absolute possibility that Israel was behind a possible false flag. That's just my opinion. I'm not saying it is the truth. I don't know. This is just... Okay, here we go.
On August 17th, about 4 months ago, I sent Prime Minister Albanese of Australia a letter in which I gave him warning that the Australian government's policy was promoting and encouraging anti-Semitism in Australia. I wrote, "Your call for a Palestinian state pours fuel on the anti-Semitic fire. It rewards Hamas terrorism. It emboldens those who menace Australian Jews and encourages the Jew hatred now stalking your streets. Anti-Semitism is a cancer. It spreads when leaders stay silent. It retreats when leaders act. I call upon you to replace weakness with action, appeasement with resolve. Instead, Prime Minister, you replaced weakness with weakness and appeasement with more appeasement. Your government did nothing to stop the spread of anti-Semitism in Australia. You did nothing to curb the cancer cells that were growing inside your country. You took no action. You let the disease spread. And the result is the horrific attacks on Jews we saw today. We saw an action of a brave man. Turns out a Muslim brave man, and I salute him.
Hold on, I need to pause it because I don't know if you guys also saw this. I'm not going to pull the video up, but originally there's a video of Bibi actually claiming that the guy that saved that took the terrorists down was Jewish. It's literally go look it up. It's hilarious. He basically tries to take credit for it, and then he finds out that it was a Muslim, and this is what he says.
That stopped one of these terrorists from killing innocent Jews. But it requires the action of your government, which you're not taking. And you have to, because history will not forgive hesitation and weakness. It will honor action and strength. That's what Israel expects of each of your governments in the West and elsewhere, because the disease spreads and it will consume you as well. But we are worrying right now about our people, our safety, and we do not remain silent. We fight those who try to annihilate us. They're not only trying to annihilate us, they attack us because they attack the West. In Syria, we saw yesterday 2 American soldiers killed and 1 American interpreter killed as well.
Shocker.
Killed because they represent our common culture.
Oh.
Now, as a result of this, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth said the following. He said, "Let it be known that if you target Americans anywhere in the world, you will spend the rest of your brief, anxious life knowing the United States will hunt you, find you, and ruthlessly kill you." We send our condolences to the people of America, and I want to say that our policy is exactly that policy. That's why those who target Israelis, target our soldiers, try to kill them or try to hurt them and wound them, as happened in Gaza yesterday, we take action. They will spend the rest of their brief, anxious lives knowing that Israel will hunt them, find them, and ruthlessly dispose of them. That is American policy. This is Israel's policy. It's our policy in Gaza, in Lebanon, anywhere around us. We do not sit by and let these killers kill us.
Okay.
So that's the speech that Bibi Netanyahu gave after Bondi Beach. What did that sound like to you? Because to me, sure as hell sounds like he's scolding a child, and he's warning that child that
he's throwing out another warning like he did for Australia And so maybe months from now, he can say, I warned the West that if they didn't do this, this would happen. Here's the thing, Ian. Let me say this. Bibi Netanyahu is 100% allowed to feel that way when it comes to his people being killed. I would think that our president would be the same. What I don't like, what I do not like, and this is the only part about this I do not like, because I remember back in Bibi when he talked like this back in 2016 when Trump was around, I was like, oh, these two are about to take over the world together. I didn't mind the speech. I really don't mind his anger. I don't mind the warning. I don't mind his the one thing that I didn't like in this, Ian, and you tell me if I'm wrong. I didn't like how he tries to tie it to our, like, this is a America issue too. That when he tries to marry the emotionalism of, you know, like when you said, when he said that, well, of course he wants to tie it to the people that were killed here in America. And it's like, hey, we're Americans. We're Americans. If somebody's in Israel and they're killing people and they're killing Jews, let me preface this real quick. Was Bondi Beach, was this a Jewish organization get together or something, or was it just people on the beach?
Yeah, no, it was a Hanukkah celebration.
So a Hanukkah celebration. So I think he has every right to feel the way he does. I just don't like how in his speeches he always tries to include us.
But that's the thing, dude. That's the point. The point that I'm trying to make, and the reason why so many of us have been so outspoken about this, is because that is the point. So even going back to 2016, dude, one of the main reasons why people were so, Bibi and Trump, blah, blah, because nobody knew, nobody like peeled back all the layers of the subversion and the manipulation and the foreign entanglement with Israel yet. Right? No one really understood it back in 2000. Very few people understood what they understand now back in 2016. The reality is, though, most people now are waking up to the fact that this dude has been the sole reason why the United States of America has gotten involved in every single war in the Middle East, including the 20-year war that happened after 9/11. Where we lost, where a total of 1 million people were murdered, and it's always, he says it himself. He says it over and over. It's little Satan and greater Satan. Who's greater Satan to the Arab nation? It's not Israel. It's the United States of America. United States of America is greater Satan, and Israel is little Satan. Isn't that so nice and so convenient? And yet, did Israel actually help? Ask any veteran from the Afghanistan war, ask them how much Israel helped, and they'll tell you. So we went to war for them under the pretext of weapons of mass destruction, because that's what Bibi swore up and down to our Congress that Iraq had weapons of mass destruction. So we go to war, 20-year war. It's the same thing every single time. That is the problem. The problem is that Bibi Netanyahu and the state of Israel use the United States of America to justify this partnership that we have. By the way, did you know that we actually don't have an alliance with Israel? Did everybody know this? You can look it up right now. We are not actually an Israeli ally. We're not an ally to Israel. Like, based on all the actual stipulations of being an ally, we're an ally to freaking Iran, to these other places. We're not an ally to Israel. You can look it up right now if you don't believe me. We are not actually an ally. So why are we continuing to be told that we are? Why are we continuing to give them hundreds of millions, billions of dollars? Why do they have free healthcare and free insurance? Why are we supporting a country that believes in actual, full-on, nationalistic, ethnic cleansing of another people? Why do we support these things? Well, I'm just a conspiracy theorist, man, but it kind of seems like it's because they have us under their thumb.
Yeah.
Kind of seems like America is tapped.
Yeah, I just don't like being married to every issue they have. That's the one thing with all of his stuff here lately. He can't say one thing about just Israel by itself. It's also America. It's like and this whole thing sounds like I just warned Australia, and in this warning, I want America to hear me too. If you don't do something about it now, I'm telling you, if you kill our people, if we allow this to happen, we're going to do this, boom, 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 and it's like almost like it almost felt like a threat to us. You know, it's not necessarily a warning, but a threat. And it's
did you hear the one where I don't even remember where this was or when it was, but he did another press conference where he was talking about this is back with the Iran thing. He was talking about how if Iran has nukes, that the United States of America better be willing to support Israel because they might. And he literally names the cities. He says it could be LA, it could be New York, and then he said
Mar-a-Lago.
Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah.
Why would Mar-a-Lago be included in major cities?
That's the same. The same way he talks when he was just now talking about Australia and then included America. That's the same thing. He goes all these big American cities and then goes Mar-a-Lago. It's like, come on, man. You know good and well what you were just saying right there.
Yeah. And so, look, all I'm saying is based on that. And based on all the inconsistencies that have now come out, of course, of this whole tragedy, like, look, at the end of the day, I said this on a video. Real people died, and it's not okay. I don't care what religion they are. I don't care what. Like, it is not okay that innocent lives were taken, and it really happened. But I will never be gaslit into not being able to question why it seems like this happened now, and why it seems like so many of these things are taking place that are creating this that are once again creating this overwhelming feeling of Islamophobia, right? Which is what it is. Like, fear the Muslims, they're the enemy. And don't get me wrong, I don't think radical Islam is compatible with the West either. I don't think radical Islam is. I don't think Zionism is. I don't think any of those things are compatible with the West. And I absolutely do believe that there are terrorists that want to freaking take our heads off and want to kill us. It is absolutely the truth. But you have to ask yourself, why is it always them? Why is it it always seems to be, these are the guys you got to be afraid of, not these guys. It's those guys. It's always those guys. Why? And I'm just going to say this too. Why do they freaking hate us so much in the first place? We did not have conflicts like we do now. I mean, we had like the ancient conflicts, but real conflicts between the United States of America and the Middle East, we did not have the conflicts we have now until after 1948. I'm just saying. You can't prove me wrong on that one. You can't. You can go back to ancient conflicts, but we're talking about modern day political conflicts between us. Just saying. So, it's like, that's why I believe that these situations happen. That's why I believe that it's an absolute possibility to imagine that these things are orchestrated. And I mean, dude, if you're going to tell me that there's no such thing as a false flag and that that's not a possibility, I'm going to tell you you're extremely naive, because the people, the elite people that run this world, and I do believe there is a group of people that do that. They do not look at us as people. We are numbers on a board. We are blips on a screen. And overall, it's whatever is going to accomplish their agenda. And I know that that's dark, but guess what? It's a reality, and it's biblical. It's biblical.
I got 10% on my phone. I'm like, let's get to these questions for this phone.
All right. Let's answer some questions, and we're going to call it 5,400 people. Yo, we appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
That's crazy.
Once again, follow Blake
for 3
Reynolds,
hours, Bob.
Blake Reynolds.22 on Instagram. Subscribe to my YouTube and subscribe to X if you can. All right. Throw some questions in, guys. Super chats if you're willing to support the channel. That goes towards making it so that I'm no longer using a cardboard box and 2 crates to prop up my monitor.
Look at my set.
Yeah, I know. You're remote. But we'll answer them right away. Throw the questions in there. And if there are none, then we'll just call it, because Blake's tired. I'm tired,
Well, it's 1 o'clock here. I don't know about what time is it over there?
It is 10. It's almost 11 o'clock.
Gotcha.
Do I know? Yes, I do know that. Do you know that the grandfather of transgenderism is Jewish? Yes, I do. Hey, that's all right, dude. Don't even worry about it. Throw some questions in if you have them. They don't have to be super chats. If they're super chats, I'll answer them and we'll give priority to them. But you don't have to be a super chat to throw a question in. Throw a question in you want. Ask Blake some questions. Dude has a lot of knowledge, man. That's why I had him on the show, especially biblical questions. This guy's. He comes from a very unique place.
Under a rock.
Under a rock, yeah. There's probably some up here too. I guess I could just scroll, but you can't see them, can you?
I can't see nothing.
All right, hang on. Let me see.
And if we don't get to your questions here, you can always DM us. I try to get to as many DMs as possible.
Yeah, somebody said, what dirt do we think Israel has on the United States of America? Well, go read One Nation Under Blackmail by Whitney Webb.
No. It could be a lot of things. Like, you name it.
It could be a lot of things. Yep. Let's see. I'm going through. Let's see. Any other? It was a Coptic Christian, I thought. They're talking about the shooter. I don't think he was a Coptic Christian. I think they found out that he was actually Indian or something like that. He wasn't actually Muslim.
I've seen so much stuff on it. I'm like, I'll kind of give it some time. Let the end winds of the internet figure it out, and then I'll be like, okay.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna go down.
Because I even saw something where somebody said they were Israeli IDF soldiers, and I'm like,
Oh no, for sure. I saw that one too. Here's a question, bro. All right. For you, Blake, what do you think about Revelations 2:9? I think false Jews, synagogue of Satan. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that there's a difference between the real Jews and the fake Jews, and it's pointed out there. I think the true Jew in that sense would be us. I don't think it would be. It definitely wouldn't be. It wouldn't be the ones that we've been highlighting tonight. But I think that the true Jew, in that sense, would be talking about us.
Yeah, someone said BB's not Jewish; he's Polish. You're not wrong. It's 100%. He changed his name. Have you looked into Little Seasons, Blake?
Little Seasons. Why does that sound familiar?
Good question. Don't know.
Little Seasons
sounds like a hotel. I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean Little Seasons? Oh, I think they're talking.
That's the Israel thing, right?
I think it's The Little Season or something like that. Yeah, I've heard. I don't know a lot about that, to be honest. So I'm gonna let him take that away.
No, it's been a while. I mean, bro, I couldn't comment on it right now unless I had more background on the question.
That's all good. Keep that question. Send that question to him in a DM. I'm sure he'll answer. Blake answers his DMs, guys. So if you want to just DM him that question. Do you think that Israel blackmails America with nuclear annihilation? So Samson option, yes. I mean, I do think that that's an absolute possibility. Personally, I don't know, Blake. What you think?
Do I think it'll ever happen? No, but I mean,
but is it possible they're using it? Sure.
Yeah. When it comes to Trump, I'll say this because your question earlier about how they have dirt. I don't think that they have dirt on Trump. I don't know what it is, but I don't think it's dirt.
I actually don't think I don't think they have the kind of dirt that we think they have on Trump. I've said this many, many, many times. His freaking mentor was Roy Cohn. He would be a moron. After watching Roy Cohn and what he did to J. Edgar Hoover and all these other powerful politicians and putting them in compromising situations and then using it against them, he'd be a moron to put himself in the same situation after watching the game being played. So I personally don't think they have anything like that on him, but I think they have it on the people around him.
Yeah, I truly feel this way. I still feel today that Trump is truly the one outsmarting everybody else. We just ain't seen it yet.
I don't believe that, but
I know you don't. I know you don't.
We can differ in belief, and if you're wrong, if you're right, I'll admit I was wrong.
I hope I'm right, at least.
Lucy Rouse, what's up, Lucy? Did you see what Mark Levin called DJT? Yes, I did.
What did he say?
I did see that actually. Proclaimed him in America. So this happened twice. This is the second time it's happened. Mark Levin called Donald J. Trump the first Jewish president to be 2 terms.
That's crazy.
That's the second time it's happened too. It happened last time and it happened this time. It happened literally, I think it was like today or yesterday or something like that. And then Trump goes, "It's true. It's true."
What Trump says it's true as in this. I'm the president that's had Jewish interests in mind.
Probably
Better than anybody else. Donald Trump will take anything. If Candace Owens said Donald Trump's the real first black president, he'd go, "It's true. It's true."
Probably. All right, we're gonna answer just a couple more. Let's see. How can you love Jesus with all your heart, soul, and mind and be an anti-Semite? I don't know what you're getting at there.
Well, I would say this: you can't.
You can't. Like
That's why you have to define what anti-Semitism is. Nope. I've never met anybody that just told, like, you just randomly walk up, "Hey, what's going on? My name is Blake," and they're like, "I hate Jews." I've just never heard it. Like I don't, in the sense that people use it, I don't believe the definition is true. But because in the church, especially in the church realm, and now in the political space, for you to disagree with Israel in any kind of way, to the government of Israel, now you're tied to anti-Semitism, and anti-Semitism, you're tying it to, well, they're God's chosen people. And when you intertangle every bit of these and you can't have a conversation, then, I mean, I think that question is coming from a place of intertangled belief systems. And I don't think they have to all be intertangled at all.
Oh, yeah. He said it was a joke. Yeah, I mean, but
okay.
But Blake is right. Like, that's the truth. I mean, you can't hate people and be a true follower of Christ, in my opinion. I mean, that's the truth. Okay, last one. Let's do this. Last one. Oh, they said Satan's Little Season is what it's called. Does that ring a bell?
Yeah, I'd have to be refreshed on it. I saw a YouTube video on this just a few years ago, but it's been a minute.
Okay. Lucy says, just because it's speech you hate doesn't mean it's hate speech. Bingo. All right, one more question and we're going to call it. Blake's got like probably 6% on his phone.
I'm afraid to check. I feel like it's just going to go black anytime.
He's fried. One more question, guys. One more. All right, this is a good one. Can we really affect change without being called anti-Semitic?
Yeah. Okay. Let me. This is what I would tell anybody. I don't care if you're talking about abortion. I don't care if you're talking about this subject. I don't care what subject you're talking about. When you educate yourself on these matters and you can have a logical conversation with somebody, the answer is 100% yes. If you go into everything emotional and you lack knowledge, then no, you're just going to be called an anti-Semite because you have no reason to believe the way that you do. And I think the way to get past that is to educate yourself on the matter and go, hey, just like, when Ian ends all of his videos, well, I'm just a conspiracy theorist. I think that's where people think we're all coming from. This is why he goes, hey, you know what? I don't know anything. But he just gave him a whole bunch of knowledge. That's why you can't come into Ian's chat and be like, you're this, you're this, you're this. And he's like, I didn't give you emotion, I gave you facts. And so I think when you educate yourself on the scriptures, and I think when you educate yourself on, and guess what? You need to educate yourself on law and foreign policy and different things like that too. If you're going to speak on a subject, I've told people it's best for you to just hush because you don't know as much as you think you do. And you know what? You know how many times I hush? All the time until I can study up on something, because I don't want people to take everything I say and just be like, well, you're anti-Semitic because I gave them no information. If all I gave them is emotion, well, I'm sure you have every right to call me anti-Semitic.
Very well said. I mean, that's the absolute truth, guys. That's the reason. That's the reason why I'm 5-0 challenging some of these people to a debate, and they refuse to debate me, because I don't come at these things with emotional triggering responses. I come at it with facts and receipts. And this is the same reason why people like Tucker and people like Candace are able to say the things they do and be the people they are, even being attacked as much as they are, but still break past it.
And this was get my words out. This is why Charlie Kirk was about to become so dangerous, because that man bathed himself in information. And if he just changed his mindset just a little bit, which was what he was doing,
He was a weapon.
That's a WMD if he changes his mind on something. If he ever changes his mind on Trump, WMD. If he changes his mind on anything, it's like, holy cow, look at Marjorie Taylor Greene. Look at her when she started. Charlie Kirk was 1,000 times the person of Marjorie Taylor Greene when it come to educating the not just the younger generation, but my generation and the older generation.
And it wasn't just educating. He was effective at changing belief and changing behavior. And someone who can do that and is turning, quote unquote, against your cause or against the things that you are trying to push.
Dude, let me add to this. This is what I said, because everybody's like, after Charlie Kirk was assassinated, everybody's like, I'm Charlie Kirk, I'm Charlie Kirk, I'm Charlie Kirk. And people were reaching out to me, what can I do to be a new voice? I remember telling people in my DMs, because it was just a thing, bro. Like, everybody was enamored with, okay, we're rising up, we're rising up, we're rising up. And I said, don't you dare rise up without learning first. You educate yourself. That way you're never backed in the corner. It's okay to say, hey, you know what? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But if your only answer is I don't know, then you're not rising up to the occasion that Charlie Kirk lived. You got to educate yourself. And once you educate yourself, nobody will be able to trip you up, trap you up. And then even when you're educated, even when you learn, man, it's such a good feeling to go, I don't know, but I will. Now that you've asked me and I had no answer for you, I will spend the next 40 hours not watching YouTube videos, somebody trying to flip a bottle on a table. I'm going to go learn this subject. Like, I will probably, before I go to bed.
I'm going to go look up Little Satan.
Yeah, before I go to bed, I'm going to type in Satan seasons.
Little season. Yep.
And so, and I'm gonna remind myself what that is. And then the next time somebody asks me, I have an answer for them. I can say, I saw it a while ago. It sounds familiar, but now I got to go re-up my education on it.
And that's the difference, because I'll end by saying this, and I'll give you the floor last, but I actually didn't like it when everybody was saying, I'm Charlie Kirk, I'm Charlie Kirk, I'm Charlie Kirk. And here's the reason why. No, you're not. I'm not Charlie Kirk. I'm Ian Went. You're not Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk was one of one. And for everybody to all of a sudden bring that on and try to pretend like they were, no, wrong. You're not Charlie Kirk. And that's why you're alive and he's dead, because he was one of one and he caused real fear and real problems for the powers that be and the power structure itself. He was a threat to the power structure and one of one. And that's why he was a threat even when he agreed with him. Exactly. And that's why I went from freaking hating him to respecting the hell out of him, because he was willing to stand for actual truth, and no matter what the consequences were, he truly was willing to stand for truth. If he says on the 9th, I think they're going to kill me, and then is still brave enough to stand up on the 10th and say what he's got to say and go on the college campuses and do what he feels like God called him to do. On that campus. Think about that. He saw the roofs too. He's not stupid. Yeah. He saw the roofs. He knew where he was. He knew. You know? So yeah, but I appreciate you guys listening to us talk. Yeah, Ian was supposed to send me bullet points on everything that we were talking about tonight. He did not, bro. It's better that way. Well, I was like, man, if this is going to be crazy, I need to go do a refresh. It's 1:00 in the morning. I've been working all day. I'm like, I would like a little refresh. Everybody that's listening right now, put in the chat how you think Blake did. I think everybody loves you, man. I think you did a great job. Okay. I think the answers were awesome. I think this was a great conversation. The people watching says that it was a great conversation. So go support Blake. I want you guys to understand, because what you see sometimes is these open conversations. You have to understand that there's also private conversations. And even in the private conversations, I would not be able to call Ian a Jew hater or an anti-Semite, and he would not be able to do the same thing to me. It's just not the reality. And I think that we can get so caught up in these polarizing conversations where you have to be one or the other. You're allowed to be Switzerland. You're honestly allowed to just think what you think and go, hey, I don't hate anybody. I'm not pro this, but I'm not anti this either.
I hear what I hear. I like what I like. I see what I see. I say what I say. But I'm neither one or the other. You're allowed to be that, and I think a lot of people are there. I'm certainly not Switzerland. I'm definitely on one side of the fence. But definitely, if you're Jewish and you're watching, listen. I think you have a right to exist, and I love you. It's not. It's not that. It's not that serious. I just disagree with your government. Okay, that's really that's just it. But guess what? I disagree with my government right now too. So, I'm not American hater.
Yeah, I mean that's the other funny thing too, bro. All the people that are being called anti-Semitic because they disagree with the government of Israel are probably are for the many of them are actually very anti-American government. So it's like there's consistency, especially me. Like it's consistency across the board, right?
Yeah.
But absolutely, man.
Sometimes we just want to just live in our space. But if you guys don't mind, go over and follow me on Instagram at BlakeReynolds.22.
I posted it on there, guys. That's right there, tagged.
We can catch up on conversation there. I do answer my DMs now. If 5,000 people DM'd me right now, it would take me a minute to get to all of them. But
I feel like we need to go the 45 seconds to hit 3 hours because that's what we're 45 seconds away from 3 hours.
Yeah, let's do it. I'll keep talking about me. So if you go over to my page, I have a TV show in there. You can click the link over there. Me and my family, we have a TV show. You guys should check that out. It is awesome. We're just your normal blue collar, red blooded Americans. We're patriotic. We love our country. We love our freedom, and we love our friends, and we love our friends' voices. This is why we are on tonight. Because we like what each other has to say, and we like having these conversations. Matter of fact, we were not even supposed to be doing this tonight. We were having a conversation about something completely different tonight. And then we got to start talking about something, and Ian's like, bro, let's just have this conversation in front of people. So here we are. I'm going to get over to a studio sometime in the future, and we'll have an in-person one. We'll be studied up. That way we can have a 5-hour conversation on one topic. But we're excited. We're excited to continue these conversations, and I hope to get to meet some of you guys sometime.
Absolutely. Thanks, bro. Thanks for coming on.
Did we make it?
Thank you, guys. Yep, we did. Thank you for watching, guys. Appreciate the support. Thank you so much for all the super chats. Thank you for the subscriptions. If you haven't subscribed yet, please go subscribe to my YouTube. Consider subscribing on my X. I do post subscriber-only content. And
OnlyFans.
Man. We keep going. Appreciate you guys. Later.
See y'all.
All right.